Hi, everybody. Welcome to the reunion episode of Princesses Save Dragons. I'm Jess, and welcome to my channel. This is Angry Nerd Girl. You'll see me as that down in the thing. So this is we are we are playing Golden Plates and Golden Rules from the Princess Project Anthology, which you can purchase right now on the DM's Guild, and it's a great time to do it because it's Play It Forward. And all purchases on DM's Guild go 100% to the creators. So, without much further ado, let's meet our princesses, starting with Honey and Dice.
Hello, darlings. I am Honey, aka Honey and Dice, and I play Princess Lalani Savor, the Gnome Ranger.
Zan.
Hello, I'm Zan Larson, also known as Pale Rabbit on Twitters and Instagrams, and I am playing Yrsa, the Queen of Snow, Storm Herald Barbarian.
Christina.
Hey everyone, I'm Christina, Sister Kindle, and I'll be playing your resident cleric, Mama.
And Margaret.
Hi, I'm Margaret May. You can catch me on Twitter and Instagram as Margaret Maynard, and I'm playing Princess Irie, your creepy warlock Triton friend.
So, it has been, it's been quite a while since the four of you rescued all of those dragons, sent them to their home, and you have seen your friends, seen your family, but today's Mother's Day, and three of you get it in your head to go see your dearest Mama Coco and pay her a visit. So Irie, Lilani, and Yrsa get together to take Mama a surprise for Mother's Day. I said Mama Socorro. I said Mama Coco because I want to get sued, apparently. It is Mama Socorro.
It is Mama Socorro.
I'm going to say Ari found Yrsa and is dragging her along on this. Yrsa has no idea how Ari found her.
I just looked.
Little. I was on the other side of the planet. What were you
It took a
doing
while,
there?
but you just look around, and then you find things. Sometimes it takes help. I did have a little help. It's going to be fun to see Mama again.
At this point, oh yeah, yes, much fun. And you do notice that Yrsa is even more pale than she was before, almost pure white, and her axe is larger now. She can no longer wield it with one hand.
Mm. And how do you meet up with Lilani?
Oh yeah, what was Leilani up to?
Lalani went back home to spend some time with Bernard and Bernardo, actually, forgive me. And then she's been doing her job, but it is Mother's Day, so she's got you probably see the cake before you see Lalani. It is this giant, bigger than her cake, because she has figured out one page of that cursed cookbook to make a giant cake. And it's all done up with oranges and chocolate and so on. And as they approach Mama's house, she's just going to pop her head from behind it. And this tiny dark-skinned gnome with her curly white hair, still stylish, of course. She's got a cute little coat on and her pearls. And her little bag of goodies, just in case she has to strap up. And she, oh my goodness! Hello, darlings.
Hello. It's lovely to see you again. And curtsies, because she's learning that that's a thing that you do when you have a skirt.
Yeah. Leilani, let me help you with that cake. And she'll just lift up the cake so that we can now see Leilani.
Oh, thank you so much. And you see Lalani and everyone's favorite alligator, Lord Silky. Who is, also dressed up. He's got his little collar. He doesn't have a shirt, he just has the collar part and the bow tie. Looks freshly cleaned and so on. This is going to be the best surprise ever. I almost forgot the day I was out helping find these children that apparently went to this house that was made out of candy, and it was a whole thing. But we did that, and then Bernardo was like, I know you miss your friends, darling. I'm like, yes, I know I miss my friends. He's like, well, you better go see them. I said, okay, well, you be okay. And then I made him like 100 sandwiches because he cannot cook. And got dressed and came here.
And so the three of you arrive after a little bit of travel to Mama's house. Mama, tell us about your home and what you're up to when they arrive.
Well, there is a large patio out front that is like surrounded by a huge flower garden, just roses everywhere. There's vegetables along the side, and she's got a lot of chairs out. There's colorful flags flying, and then she's just got little mirrors everywhere. And the magic mirror is up, kind of in the door's open because she's there, and you can see the magic mirror is right inside the door. And she's like staring at the magic mirror, and they'll kind of stick her head out. Hello. I mean, I don't know you're there. So like busy herself with like some sleeping.
So wait, did we hear that greeting?
I have a cake.
I was gonna say, yeah, you heard that greeting.
Okay. I think I lost something in translation.
Mama, we have come with the cake.
Oh! I'm so surprised! Leilani! Oh! Oh my goodness, Rista! Oh my darling girl, you are so beautiful! Look at you! And she's going to like, grandma around and like pinch everyone's cheeks and give everyone a hug. And that cake, it looks fantastic. What's in it?
I think some chocolate, there's some oranges and some spices.
Beautiful. Well, let's all sit down, have a slice. Tell me what you've been doing.
Lalani is also going to now, for the first time, for whatever reason, notice that Ursa's axe is bigger. You see her do a double take. Yes, Ursa was kind enough to carry the kit.
Noticing this, Irie's gonna lean over to Leilani and be like, I was curious about that too. It's different now, right? That's strange, right?
I've been busy.
Okay, is this the kind of... Okay, we have cake. Okay, she just never takes. She's got that ranger glare. Probably just resisting the urge to hunter's mark, just in case. The eyes. It looks good. Like, proportionally, you wield it well. Okay, so that's the thing. So Mama, I've been very busy, and she's gonna update her on. Everyone's probably received letters from Lilani or had mysteriously a small animal show up holding something for them throughout this time. But you've got to catch up with some cake and some tea.
So after you catch up with cake and tea, you get a bit peckish. And Mama, you know of an excellent, like you want dinner food. And you don't want Mama to cook on Mother's Day. But Mama knows an excellent pub in town.
They have the best. They call them little sliders. They're so small. They make me feel so big. Anyway, we should go.
We should go. I haven't had tiny burgers.
Tiny food just tastes better. It's cute.
Maybe I shall have to test this theory.
Lord Silky is all for this plan. He's already by the door, ready to go.
So
Time
full
for
of
some tiny burger.
tea and
He's
cake.
gonna take some of the I don't know. Was there decoration on the cake still, or did we polish the cake off?
You tell me how much cake you ate.
I mean,
Roll for cake consumption.
you know what? Yes.
Wait. Should we roll a percentage die to see what percentage each of us
Yes.
I love it.
have
Do
of
that.
this cake?
Yes.
Should we have one person roll this?
I was going to say, I can just roll a percentage die to see how much of the entire cake you ate.
Yeah, because if it was just
first roll.
49%. You still have plenty of cake left.
good, because if it was up to me, it would have been Lord Silky had eaten 70% of that cake.
If it was up to me, it would have been 87% of the cake. So
Hungry dice. So Irie is going to scoop up about 1% of the cake and sort of hand cake it on the way out. Leave it at an even 50. Or it's when there's always a rose in the frosting. It's I wanted the rose. So yeah.
So you head to a pub called The Little Cottage in the Glen. And this is in kind of a downtown area in the shadow of a massive castle. And, it's not in Mama's hometown, but it's the next town over. And, this place has really good sliders. So you get your sliders. They are delicious. You get some drinks. And having a grand old Mother's Day for Mama. And as you're sitting there, you notice a couple hooded figures having a whispered conversation next to you. One of them is small, appears to be about Lilani's height. The other is tall and slender, but you can't see either of their faces. And what is everybody's passive perception? I forget.
15.
Okay.
18.
14.
Uh-oh, what happened to Zan? There she is.
She rolled high on stealth.
Zan, what's your passive?
Sorry about that. It seems my internet blinked.
Okay. It's okay. Oh no, I think she's still frozen.
Queen of Snow. I'll stop at some point.
Passive is 14.
Okay. Zan is still kind of frozen a little bit, so if she vanishes, and everything gets glitchy, we'll take a quick break, but hopefully we won't have to. Okay, she seems okay.
Sorry about this.
So it's okay. So you all overhear this conversation, but Irie and Lilani also overhear Code 13. After a little bit, the shorter hooded figure appears very anxious, and you see them just go, "No, the price isn't worth it." And they storm off.
Irie's going to scan our party and see if it looks like anyone else noticed that. I'm guessing Lilani did, unless she's playing it super cool. I don't want to assume.
Delaney, you know what? The number 13 has never been that good of a number. Oh yeah, they're talking about something weird over there. She's got her giant drink. Because she just gets a full pint or whatever. They're talking about something weird over there. I don't know what it is. A code 13. Lord Silky, that is your 15th slider.
Landfolk don't seem to like prime numbers. I've noticed that. It's strange. But for the smaller one to storm off, something seems wrong?
Perhaps he was looking for a gift. And he just like, no, I can't pay that much money for a gift. It's been 13 years, you know.
Reasonable.
Is the small one still in the bar, or did they leave like completely?
Give me a perception check.
Perception. Ooh. 12.
Okay. Yeah, you see a couple people storm around. This the smaller one is at a table in the back with a drink and their hood over them even further.
Okay.
You can see kind of a long beard sticking out beneath the hood.
Do we want to go straight to the source and see what this person is upset about?
We could just ask. And Irie starts to get up. Like, looks around the group, but is like, you could just go.
Yursa gets up too. It's like, I could help you ask.
Delaney double takes at this duo. Looks at Mama. I think perhaps we should follow. Just because you know, Ursa, she's so bless her. Her axe is much bigger now, and
I saw that. Yeah.
And I'm just not sure if like Eri, her whole tentacle thing is bigger now, so it's a whole thing. We probably should follow.
You're right. Yeah.
Funny, you should think that.
I think that's confirmation that the tentacles are bigger now.
Well, something like that. But yeah.
Are you going for the shorter, angry one or the taller one?
Irie likes both options.
The angry one seems talkative. Does the taller one also seem talkative?
At this point, the taller one is just kind of sitting at the table, looking down in their hand. And you can see that they are wearing a mask.
Irie will suggest. Well, one just refused a job and stormed off, but the other just lost a resource. One is probably willing to talk, and the other likely willing to make an offer. from what I've seen of this world, that seems like either could be good conversations.
Do we want to take an offer? After all, this is Mother's Day.
That's true.
You know what I've been doing here since I've been retired? I've been making food. I've been gardening. I've been doing more gardening. Do you know what's more fun than gardening?
Yes.
Putting on armor.
I think Mama is voting for the opportunity then.
I cleared the afternoon, so I'm up for whatever.
All I'm saying is we don't have to drink tea for Mother's Day.
This is your day, Mama. So whatever it is you want to do, whether it's adventure, a bar fight, whatever, I've got your back.
I don't know if a bar fight. I'd like to come back to this place. Maybe not a bar fight, but
Yours it looks like she might have been ready to start a fight and immediately like lowers her hand.
Mary's eyes light up a little, but like they light up, but also they flicker a little bit yellow at the idea of bar fight. Oh, no bar fight.
Oh, we are the
gets
chaos
Alani.
crew right now.
Oh boy. Okay. I follow your lead.
I think we should go see what made that person so angry.
How about you and Lalani see what made the person angry, and I go see what excitement this person turned down.
I like it.
Okay, just remember, nice words, no bar fight. Start with compliment. That's a good way, And I believe in you and I trust you all so much because you have grown and I am so happy. And she's dabbing her eyes a little bit. Okay, Mama, let's go find out what pissed off the little one.
Okay.
Just a look of utter confusion at Ari. It's just like, was she crying? You know what? Never mind.
Sometimes they cry when they're happy or proud. Crying just happens with all of the feelings. I don't know. I live underwater. Everything's wet. I don't understand why the feelings are all wet and nothing. But it seemed good, right? It seemed good?
I believe so.
Like a happy dampness.
Yes. And then I go up and I immediately compliment the man on his mask. Just say, nice mask.
You see that this, the person kind of startles. And the voice that responds is not masculine. And thank you. I was disappointed tonight, but nice axe. Briar rose.
It's not so nice.
And she extends her hand.
It's not so nice, but thank you. And shakes the hand.
Are we in like a booth situation? What's the layout like?
You're at like a small table, so there's like the bar, and then there's a lot of tables behind the bar, not by in front of the bar, and then the booths around the corner. So you two are at one of those little tables. Mama and Lalani are heading to one of the back areas. Okay. So you can pull up chairs to hers, or a third chair, I guess.
I want to not aggressively sort of sidle up near this person, not to like flank and be terrifying, but like just be like, disappointment's not a great way to start an evening.
Well,
it's too bad.
I thought he was braver than apparently he is. I'm on royal duty, looking for people brave enough to take on a job. How brave are you two?
Braver than we should be.
You see a smile. So it's a mask that's just kind of around the eyes. She says, I'm interested.
So are we.
I know for a fact that Queen Talia is hiring brave folk for quite a hefty price. It's a deadly mission, but there's good coin and a noble title in surviving.
Coin's always useful. We should get a title for Mama for Mother's Day.
That would be a great gift. It's one of the only things that I don't think she has. What can you tell us about the mission, besides it's deadly and pays well?
She's, well, she's only been queen for a few years, but she thinks it's time she takes down that archfey who fucked things up for her way back when. So that's why I mean it's deadly. Think you got it in you to bring back the head of a fairy?
Possible.
I like this idea. Give me a moment to speak with my associate.
If you're up for it, go to the castle tomorrow morning. Tell him Bri Rose sent you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
At least this wasn't entirely a bust. And she straightens up and walks out of the bar. So the other two of you head to the back of the bar and see hunched over as you approach, you just kind of see Beard sitting in Beerstein. And you hear muttering.
I guess I'll go take a seat next to Beard and take a long drink of my drink and set it down.
Ah! You're not coming to offer me an impossible job, are you?
Oh no jobs here.
Lonnie's going to come and get in a chair, climb up in a chair on the other side with her own drink, take a sip. We just saw you sitting over here by yourself, which you should not be in a place like this with such delicious sliders by yourself. Have you tried the sliders?
No, I haven't tried much. In the way of
Lord
food,
Silky?
anyway.
Lord Silky here is a connoisseur of the sliders. I'm sure he would have some recommendations. But you look so sad all by yourself, and we were just wondering what that person said to you that made you so upset.
As soon as he sees Lord Silky, he goes, "Get that godforsaken dragon away from me!"
That is just rude. And also a little bit ignorant. That is not a dragon. His legs are far too small.
No wings.
At this, he kind of looks up at you, and you see an older male dwarvish face. He says, "Man can't even come in here anymore. Take a load off from his brothers without women coming out of the woodwork. Offering him food, offering him jobs, get him killed. Threatening him with dragons." And then he takes a slider and takes a bite and goes,
"Oh, yes, it looks like you have had a very bad night. I will recommend that everyone has someone for them. So if your love language is not, deadly missions, it's okay. You can find someone whose love language may be drinking beer, you know? Um, I do apologize if we have interrupted. We just were so concerned. Um,
Women thinks I'm gonna
Slider?
take on an archfey.
Oh, okay, so that's like she's or he or they are just very like, was this a date plan or was this just a higher plan? Or it's okay, you can talk to us.
Briar Rose, she works for the Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Wears a mask, still says her name. What kind of undercover mercenary does that? Doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
She hires people out for killing contracts.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Worth a little bit of gold. I've done some mercenary work on the side. Man's gotta make a living somehow. Mostly bringing in lowlifes to prison, pinch thieves,
Mm-hmm.
burglars. But climbing up the Forbidden Mountain to bring her the head of the 13th fairy? Fuck no! He spits on the floor.
That is a big job.
2 men for one dwarf.
What can you tell us about this 13th fairy?
Are you new in town, ma'am?
Oh no, I keep to myself.
Well, everybody knows about Queen Dahlia, right? Her family was, ruled the kingdom over yonder, and, then when she was born, they invited all the fairies in the land to bless her, and they left this 13th fairy out, so she got cursed with eternal death or something, and they made it sleep, and then she woke up, and her whole family was dead, and she had these 2 kids, and the king took her home to marry her because his wife couldn't make no kids. And then, well, from what I've heard, the wife tried to cook her kids in a stew. That's why she ain't the wife no more. But, the king married Dahlia. And then, he died to foreign enemies.
Oh no, what a waste.
And Dahlia's been queen these last 3... Well, queen regent. We've got king's son. He's just little and about 6 now.
Well, that sounds like a lot.
But the fairy's the one that she's mad at, because the fairy's the one who cursed her to go to sleep for 100 years.
Yeah, that is quite extreme. That's not a good gift at all.
100 years and she still looks like she's not but 20. Can you imagine that?
Lani, with her gnomeness, just blinks. Well, some people, it's just a thing that happens.
Well, it's weird for a human.
Yes, it's very weird for a human, unless you've been sleeping. They say sleeping is good for the complexion and everything else.
That bitch got her beauty rest.
Yes, I'm going to forget you using that word because you've had a very bad night. I am going to buy you some more sliders. I think it's very wise for someone like yourself to not go off on a death mission. It's a very wise decision. You're a very smart dwarf. Yep. So, 13th Fairy, Forbidden Mountain. You by yourself. That is just. Who would do that?
I think that Briar Rose is trying to get me killed. Women.
Yeah, I don't think that has to do with the women. She just might not like you.
I can't imagine why. You seem lovely.
Yeah, your personality is sparkling. Thank you so much. I hope you feel better for talking it all out. Make sure they know that the drinks on your sliders are on me for tonight. And you have a wonderful
Why?
evening.
What do you want?
I really do not want anything from you, but I just have this thing where I try to take care of people who have had it rough. So, maybe one day you will pay it forward. Maybe not. There's no pressure. You just take care. She's gonna hop down out the chair. Come on, Lotsuki.
He kind of eyes you, goes, bet she sings to birds in the forest too. And then just starts tearing into a slider.
And if she does, there's nothing wrong with it. No. I come here all the time. I don't want to see your grumpy face being grumpy with my friends. She's a real lady, okay? You have to have some class. Get your beard out of your beer. It's going to mold. And then I'm going to walk away.
Oh.
I'll catch up with Lilani and see if this 13th fairy sounds familiar to her. I seem to recall knowing someone who had a big hang-ups about party invites.
You know, I never get that because if you have like all of this unlimited power to be able to curse people and stuff, why would you be so hung up on a party? You can have your own party with people you like. I don't understand this obsession about I was left out the party. Well, obviously they don't like you, so why would you want to go?
Some people just love awkward situations, I guess.
And she will head off in the direction that Ursa and Irie seem to be.
All right, so you can
Irie,
share what you've learned.
Irie's like at the table, I think discussing probably logistics, and while discussing it, has taken apart 3 sliders and stacked the meat patties on top of each other to make like a really tall slider to see if it'll work. And like do one of these. She's gonna attempt it, but yeah, all the while being like, well, if it's just a matter of taking on a job, I think that's perfectly reasonable. But this means tomorrow, and we'd have to make sure everyone's available tomorrow, and all logistics talk while playing with her food.
Yes, and this sounds like it could take a while. We should confer and make sure they are up for this, and really, while getting a title for Mama would be really, really nice. Mama might just want to hunt down a monster or something. Who knows?
That could be fun too. I like hunting monsters. I'm guessing that takes us to about the point when you guys.
I was going to say, the two of you are back by this point.
Honey, you're muted.
Yep. Do we see the slider experiment?
It's so tall that you can probably catch it like as you walk over, like that it's happening.
Oh.
Yeah, Yrsa has like shoved over her plate of sliders to add to this experiment. I just want to see what happens.
I will keep making it worse. Let me know if I should roll something.
Yeah, sure. Are you using your strength or your dexterity to keep it together? Or your wisdom to know when to stop?
Oh, I don't know when to stop. Let's go with dexterity, because that's what's failed me in real life when it comes to burger physics. Dexterity save?
No, just to check.
Okay. A straight. I'm
like a
guessing
sleight of hand. Give me a sleight of hand.
Gotcha. 12.
Okay, yeah, you can pretty much keep this together. It starts to teeter-totter, but by keeping your hands along the side, you can get it.
Yeah, clean hands, not the goal. clean tidiness, not what I'm worried about right now. It's can I do the thing?
Yeah, so Lolani and Mama, you approach and see Irie like messy hands full of burger grease as she's eating this giant stack.
Strangely disgusted, fascinated, and impressed at the same time. Just
it's slimy, but satisfying.
Lani just looks up, climbs up onto a chair, gets a napkin, like one of her handkerchiefs, puts it down beside her.
I will snap her fingers and prestidigitation, and everything's clean. And act like nothing was wrong.
Oh, darling. Was it tasty? Do you like the flavors?
Very good. I had the one with the cheese on top of the one with the mushrooms, on top of the one with the peppers. It's the fusion. We don't have cheese where I'm from. It's so good.
Yeah,
I'd imagine you don't have mushrooms or peppers either. Well,
no,
maybe
but
something
cheese
like
is better.
peppers.
And someone might have to stop her. She'll just wax poetical about cheese because she's been traveling a bit and she's tried the different cheeses that smell like different things. So, but yeah.
So, yes, we met with the person, and there is a job. Evidently, it's very dangerous, and if we are interested, we should meet with Queen Talia tomorrow morning.
We heard a little about the job. Apparently, she wants the head of an archfey that goes by the name the 13th Fairy. Someone whose name was conveniently left off a princess party guest list.
Oh.
And she got revenge for it.
And
now the queen wants revenge for the revenge, which involved a very long nap.
Right. So, do we take the job trying to take her head, or are we assuming this is someone we know and we take the job to hopefully resolve this in a more peaceably fashion?
I mean, if there are two archfays wandering around with party hang-ups, we at least need to get them like hooked up so they can have a party of two. Don't you think?
They'd have so much in common. That just seems kind.
I mean, curses. Perhaps they're both into dragons. Who knows? Party hang. People don't like them. You know, it's like it seemed like a pen pal relationship. If that's where we're going to go with that.
So it's sounding like it's a good idea if we take this job.
Of course. If you want to, Mama.
I would be interested in going. And at the very least, if it's the same person that we think it is, we might be able to see those little babies again.
Oh, yes.
That is true.
To go check in.
Yes.
I miss Sparkles.
There's one thing I am concerned. They said the head of the archfey.
Yeah.
You talked to the other person, this Briar Rose, that apparently does not like this dwarf because she's like, oh, I hire you to do this. And he's like, no, I'm by myself and I'm super butch and I don't want to do anything. I might die. You know.
Sounds like you met quite a person. Well, granted, the job is for the head, and we were thinking about the prize, giving it to Mama for Mother's Day, but perhaps we should try and figure out a different way of resolving the issue rather than taking the head of the archfey.
I'm all for that because the beheading thing is kind of messy, especially with humanoids and it's the eyes, they haunt you. And I don't really like that because, again, it's just probably personality clash. And who asks for, okay, this Briar Rose person, right? Did she seem like someone who was like, oh, I collect heads, go get me one? Or does there seem to be some kind of reason why she needed the head?
This person seemed to be hired to find people to do a job, and she seemed rather put out that she couldn't find that many people. That was the impression I got.
More of a talent hunter than a head hunter in this case.
Yes, she didn't seem interested in the head, only that was the job.
Okay, well. So it seems like we're going on an adventure together again for Mama's special day.
I'm just so excited to just have all my girls back. And Mama will get a little weepy, but we'll be like happy. We're all. You can all stay with me if you want tonight, and then we can go to the castle tomorrow.
Thank you. That's much appreciated.
And
Slumber party!
and you have, without much further ado, a lovely rest of your meal with sliders and a fun Mother's Day sleepover with Mama. And before too long, it is the next morning. You take off, you have whatever delicious thing Mama, I'm sure, insists on cooking for you.
Oh, you know it.
For breakfast.
A big casserole with potatoes and eggs and hot peppers.
Yes.
It's great.
And after a hearty meal, you go to the castle. As you, let me block that person. I will do that in a second, when I'm not talking. And after a few moments, you see a bunch of guards standing in front of a massive throne room, lined with stained glass windows, marble floors, and columns covered with reliefs of gilded thorny roses lining the hall. A few guards stand in front of you, blocking your path.
Yursa just kind of walks up to them and raises an eyebrow and waits for them to get out of the way.
One of them's, do you have business with the queen?
We were told to come here this morning.
By?
Briar Rose.
And at that, they go, oh, please, do come in, do come in. And they step aside. And you see that there are several dozen nobles in here, and the hall is lined with palace guards. You, there we go. Ba-doop. Sorry. I got distracted trying to moderate while I was also talking. At the end of the hall is a massive throne, and on it sits a tall human woman in her early 20s with a crown of golden roses on her head. And on either side of her are two small children who look very similar. A boy and a girl, both wearing celestial raiment. One with a little boy wearing a crown, and his clothes feature the sun, and a little girl wearing a crown that features the moon, and she's wearing all silver.
Interesting.
Marching order eyes. You know what? No, I'm gonna talk telepathically to Lord Silky, because I don't want to make a ruckus. And I'm a Triton, and I'm gonna use my weird shit. Telepathically will murmur to Lord Silky, this many guards seems like a show of force. I only see this in palaces that feel they need to prove something or they're showing off. What do you think?
Lord Silky is fresh and shining, ready for mission. He just takes a deep breath. People who doubt their prowess oftentimes overcompensate. On many trips with my mama, I have seen this happen. Sometimes it's fear, sometimes it's pride. Also, did you try the sliders that had the cheese on it?
They were amazing!
Yes, apparently I'm not allowed to have cheese because it results in uncomfortable gusts of wind, but Mama was kind enough to allow me a treat.
It's kind of her, and I can understand the temptation. And she will try to remember that she needs to focus on the task at hand instead of talk about cheese. Also doesn't want to rub it in, because apparently it's not a friendly food for Silky.
Are you walking down the hallway as you are having this conversation?
I imagined yes.
Okay.
It's just gonna roll with what's going on. Look super like, yes, I am here for a fancy job, but like be kvelling about cheese on the inside.
Okay. So you walk down the hall and some of the nobles are kind of like, ooh, because they seem sort of impressed. You definitely look to be adventurers of higher caliber than have been coming lately. And you approach the queen. She says, welcome. Briar Rose sent you.
Yes. We met last night. She said you had a job?
She smiles. She says, yes. Were it not for that fairy, I would not have the life that I have today. She puts her hands on both of her children and says, I would not trade my beautiful sun and moon for the world. Yet, facts are facts. Because of her, I lost my entire family and was thrust into this position that I now hold. Because of plates. It's not fair. And I want revenge. I will pay you 2,000 gold and give you a noble title in my court if you go to the Forbidden Mountains and bring me evidence that this 13th fairy is dead.
She said plates. Could I do some sort of history check to see if I know anything about this?
Yeah.
Because this is always a good idea. That's not bad. 15.
Okay. Yes. Given what you know of general history and given what you've heard from Mama and Lilani having talked to the grumpy dwarf, you know that the reason she was cursed the proposed reason for the lack of invitation to this fairy was because her family only had 12 golden plates, although there were 13 fairies in the kingdom. So because they did not have enough golden plates to feed the fairies, they did not invite all fairies. This 13th fairy was known to be... Well, all the other fairies kind of lived in clusters, like 3 or 4 in a group. She was the only one who lived alone. So they figured if they were going to leave one out, it was best to be her.
Okay. All right. I understand the situation better now.
You're muted, Lilani. Okay.
Plates.
You just see Lilani is trying to keep a straight face, but you just her eyes narrow, and she just looks between Mama and Ursa and his mouth.
All right.
The path to the Forbidden Mountains is treacherous. And while this fairy is deadly, I mean, she destroyed my life. She pauses and breathes. And the little girl next to her goes, Mama? And puts her hand out and she says, Mommy's fine. While she herself is deadly and fearsome, the path up her mountain should not be underestimated. Many adventurers have died before they've even reached her. This is a hard task. That's why the reward is so high.
Lilani will step forward, because she's been holding her tongue as long as she can. And she said, Your Highness, wonderful, magnificent, gorgeous Queen Talia. Thank you so much for trusting us, or being willing to trust someone else to help you get closure to something that could not have been easy. But I have to ask you one question. What will this death save?
What will the death save?
Yes.
Give me an insight check.
I get to do okay, +3. Okay. It's just a 13.
Okay. So you get the feeling that what's coming out of her is deep hurt and pain. And she says, I know it's too late for me. But by killing her, you prevent any other princess from going through what I did.
I hate to tell you that there are lots of 13 fairies. There are lots of people who lash out because they have felt hurt, no matter how petty it may be. Killing one will not stop this from happening. Has this fairy done anything else since then?
I know that my parents told me my whole life she was evil and that I should stay away from her. She could be anyone or anything. She might have even been the woman in the tower who gave me a spindle. I don't know. My father banned spinning wheels in our kingdom since I was cursed to prick my finger on one. But then this kindly old woman, it could have been her. I don't know. But and she looks at her children. It says, I can't let it happen to them.
The actions that we take in your stead will paint a picture for your children that will never leave their head. We will do what we can to make sure the 13th fairy cannot harm anyone else. What evidence that would be to you, I personally cannot promise it will be something of death.
She kind of straightens herself up. Says, I trust that once you see her for the evil monster that she is, you'll do the right thing. No one who isn't an evil monster would curse a baby to die over dinnerware.
Well, I know some very petty people. She says, I understand. I just would like to tell you, I am not yet a queen, and I may never be a queen. But I am a princess who has had to make decisions that have had a lasting impact in my life. I just want to make sure as we do this, it doesn't have a lasting impact. And she looks to the sun and the moon. That cannot be undone. And she'll curtsy deeply and then take a few steps back.
Well, I appreciate your concern for my children. What I care most about is a job well done. I assume you all are prepared for mountaineering.
Yes.
Of course, there's
Definitely look right at Yosha.
And Ursa looks at the other ones just like, are you not?
I should like to go to the mountains.
This is about Mama, so I am here. She touches her chest with her armor. She was all dressed up and so on, and fabulous. And it will transform into her fitted lavender leather and white, and her quiver is now exposed, and she's in ranger mode.
I'd like to ask the queen if spinning is still banned in the kingdom.
No, that was in my father's kingdom.
Okay.
It's over a century ago. I'm not comfortable being around spinning wheels, but I see no need to deprive my entire new kingdom of means of providing clothing for themselves. I remember the common folk were quite angry that they weren't allowed to create cloth and stitch. They were shabby.
Indeed. I would say I've lived here on this world for a long time now, and it is easy when you don't understand something or are afraid of something to say it has to go forever. But sometimes it takes looking it in the eye and knowing it to realize that, we're all just here on this world together. And just because something is frightening doesn't mean it has no redeemable qualities. But I'm very, very sorry for what happened to you. We will do our best to make this right.
Thank you. I wish you safe travels up the mountain. Be wary of Karabas.
This one again.
Lani hears the name and just bows her head and just.
Yep. We will be careful.
Yes, we will be so very careful.
Before it feels like about the end. So before we like break, Irie's gonna take a step forward for just a brief moment, and she's always weird. This is clear, but she looks a little shaken to y'all who know her well. and is going to look the queen in the eye and say, I know what it is to be manipulated by great power, and to question the source of that great power. And so I will search to find that which harmed you. So it cannot hurt more.
Since you were kind of right up in her face.
Well, I'm not like trying to at her, but like, yeah. But yes, I'm closer.
Give me a wisdom check or insight, actually. Give me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Insight. I could be good at that
Or just
someday.
Wisdom, whichever, if it doesn't matter.
Same for me. 3!
Okay.
I'm good at some things.
You see that she has the same color eyes as Briar Rose you met. But other than that, you're just like, must be a common eye color.
Okay. Noted. Oh, what color eyes did you say, or is it just a similar shade? Is this like asking the DM for an NPC name?
Same
I don't want to be a
color
jerk. Okay.
One thing before Lalani leaves, she's going to look at the children and then look back at her and look at the children. As a sign of good faith, since we will be back, do you mind if Lord Siliki stays here?
Who is this lord?
And she's going to turn and over and point to the albino alligator who waddles forward. He's a very good guardian. And you said how dangerous the path is. And last time I took him on a trip that was super dangerous, there were 2 giant cat thingies that killed him very quickly. And I think I almost lost my heart.
He's an undead alligator.
No, he's an albino. That just means he is pale.
I was muted. At this, the little boy son runs forward and goes, "Hi, Lord Silky. I'm going to show you all around." And he pulls from his pocket a big stamp that you see has a crest with a crown on it. He says, I can show you how I seal things. We can do paperwork. I like to do stamps.
Lord Silky actually looks excited. And so Lalani is like, okay, Lord Silky, we are going on a mission. Mama will be back. Don't you worry. But you'd be a good companion. And she just looks to the queen, looks back. This is the closest thing I have to a child. He is the closest to my heart other than my other love. So I will leave him here with someone else that I trust, understands what it is like to love someone that much.
She says, I appreciate what you're doing. And I thank you for the guard for my children.
You're more than welcome.
And Moon kind of looks anxious, goes, "Is it safe, brother?" And he goes, yeah. And she kind of clambers off of the throne because she's quite small. And then runs over and does a curtsy. And it's quite an elegant one for a 4-year-old. And says, "Lord Silky, do you like hearing fairy tales? Because I tell the best ones."
Lord Silky looks like he's in his element and will waddle off, near the children. He also does a bow when he gets curtsied to. You can't really tell that much, but he is bowing. And he is I'm going to leave Lord Silky behind.
Okay. So these kids kind of trot off, leading Lord Silky, one showing how he uses stamps and the other saying, like, "Once upon a time and a long way away." And if that is all, then Talia sends you on your mission.
Okay.
So you head out, and I assume you left everything that you needed to leave at Mama's. You were ready for this trip.
Yes.
Cool. Mama, you left a note for your family.
Yes, they were very excited that I was going to be not moping around the house. I would, just like, stabbing at the garden.
Yeah, Mama's going to go on a trip with some friends, a little vacation. She'll be back soon.
Yes, there's, I can always check in on the grandson whenever I want. Got my little mirror.
Perfect. So after a good walk, like it's a day trip or so, you reach a barren wasteland. And you leave this bright kingdom that was by Mama's house. The nice sunny mood of Mother's Day is well and truly past. And a dark, gloomy atmosphere sets in. It's not raining, but you see lightning striking randomly on rocky outcroppings.
Can I make some sort of check to see if this is, I don't know, magically caused weather? Something causing lightning?
Sure.
I'd like to do something similar.
Yeah, sure.
That's cool. All right. So Arcana?
Yeah.
12.
Oh, 6.
Okay, so Irie, you know that this isn't caused by a spell. But you also know that sometimes particularly powerful beings can cause weather effects around where they live.
Okay. So I start observing the lightning, and if anybody's willing to chat about lightning, I will discuss it at length because I have some familiarity with it now and its impact on terrestrial objects.
Storm Herald Barbarian, always willing to discuss storms and lightning.
Super into it. Also could probably learn a lot from you about how lightning actually works as opposed to like creepifying magic lightning, which is all I know about.
Yeah, I mean, it all has to do with the air anyway.
Lalani is just gonna say to Mama, it is so adorable when they keep talking about stuff that is like partially creepy and then also partially, terrifying, and they just get so into it.
It's adorable. They're just so happy. Woo, murder! It's so cute.
Lalani is going to say yes, but I think perhaps something can look ahead. And she's going to snap her fingers, and she's going to, instead of what was a dragonfly previously, it's still shimmering in those kind of turquoise iridescent level, but it is an albatross. That she summons her new familiar form, and she's going to smile. Okay, now, William, you have something important to do. Can we fly ahead and then go ahead and tell Mama what you see? And she's going to send the rescanned owl into ahead of her to keep an eye on things.
So how far ahead can he go from you? He's a pet, right? So he can just go.
He can go. He can go. He just, if he's outside of 100 feet, I can't communicate or tell him what to do.
Okay. Oh, wait, Lord Silky is your pet. This is your familiar. Yeah. Right. You have both. Okay. So, as you are walking, You reach an area that is full of thorny branches and a thick fog rolls in, and it's hard to see. But because William is flying up ahead, William, and you can see through William, somewhat of a clearer path, and you can see the vastness of this mountain that is currently obscured by this fog. You see that it's about 2 miles high. Like, it's a 10-hour climb straight up. Pretty much, it will take a while to get up this mountain. And give me a perception check for William. Or just, what is William's passive perception?
13.
Okay. Yeah, you can give me a roll for him.
Okay, where's my wilbur die? Yeah, I'm gonna keep that. That's not much. That's just a 12.
Okay. So he sees some movement up ahead, like way up ahead in the bushes, but can't really make out anything.
Okay. While this is happening, Lilani will have basically is holding Mama's hand, and her eyes are going to glow this light lavender, kind of sparkling, and then she's okay. He's seeing some stuff that's up there, but he can't see what it is.
So I would like you to assign one of you to be a navigator. And that one person give me a survival check to find a safe way up this mountain.
I'd say Lilani probably would be better.
Yeah, nose game.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, I have
I
a
Yours
will-
is okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Say-
I will squeeze Lilani's hand and give her guidance.
Okay.
And I'm also going to give Lilani advantage because you have Wilbur scouting for you.
Okay, and what is my favorite natural? You know that one of my advantage is appreciated, but mountains are one of my
Oh, your favorite terrain?
favorite terrain.
Okay, so never mind. But you still have guidance.
Yeah, and guidance adds a what?
D4.
Sorry, plus 2, that's 17.
Okay. So you start going up this mountain and you think you know where you're going. But suddenly you reach a part where it's such a dense fog. And the brambles set in, and I don't know if William did not see this part, but you come across a bunch of thorn bushes that were not pointed out to you by your flying buddy. And I would like everybody to give me an acrobatics saving throw, please.
Okay, so yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. Just
Rolling.
FYI, while we're in the mountains, my difficult terrain will not slow our group's travel. The group cannot become lost except by magical means, and I remain alert to danger even when I'm engaged in another activity.
Cool, you are alert to the fact that you are tripping on some brambles.
Yep. You said
Okay.
dexterity?
So, dexterity saving throw, right?
Yep, you can use acrobatics if you have it.
Yeah. And good thing I had advantage on that because of danger sense. Yes.
16 plus 7.
I have 14.
4,
Oh no.
which I guess means I hit something, right?
18.
Okay.
I'm trying to do math. 16 plus 7, so
You're
that
fine.
is yeah.
All these
Let's say it's
2-digit
18.
numbers.
So Mama and Irie, you fall into these branches and take 12 piercing damage plus
No.
5 poison damage. You are not poisoned,
Ouch.
just 5 poison damage.
Can I do a nature check to study these thorns and branches?
You may.
Ow.
9 plus 3. That's just a. Was it medicine or nature? Because she's trying to figure out like what's going on here.
I have it as nature, but you can do either.
Yeah, it's the same. So that's a 12. You're on mute.
Fucking Blue Yeti, I swear to God. Sorry, sometimes I like hit the mute button and it's like, yeah, you're unmuted now. You recognize these plants as you've seen them before. You know that one of them is a fire thorn. The other is some other kind of thorn, but you're not quite familiar with it. You know that the poison doesn't spread, but this seems to be a nastier variant than you're accustomed to. You know of fire thorns in general cause like skin agitation. They're sort like touching them is not good. They're sharp. They're like sharp poison ivy. This is a real plant, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Nasty.
Like real as in it's in the manual, or real
No,
as
as in, like,
like
this
I
is
could
in
actually
real
fall
life.
in it?
Yeah.
This is in
Oh,
real
good,
life.
good,
But
excellent.
Thinking
it
it sounded a bit
grows, so I
familiar.
can never go there.
Yeah, firethorn. That's like murder hornet. Like, come
Yeah.
on. Hi.
Galani will communicate this. She's going to be very worried because Ari and Mama are now scratched and for. Oh,
And this is directly in our path. Or
You
did
have
we
waded
fall into
through it successfully, but you see there is more around.
I have an idea.
I was going to say, does anyone have the ability to set something on fire? I mean, it
Oh,
sounds kind of rude.
that wasn't my idea, but I like it.
To, like to kind of
I
clear
mean,
a
it's just
path.
like, well, I haven't seen Ari set anything on fire today, so it's about time.
I'm open to suggestions, but unless somebody can fly, which I know a couple of you can, I
That's what
cannot.
I was thinking.
Like Mama and I cannot. Well,
I could
Well,
float.
if you'd like to fly, I could make that happen.
is it like dense brush or is it just like when we're walking through it?
You're kind of walking through it. It's just hard to see because of the fog.
Mm-hmm.
And
Now
she's
that
like,
you know what it looks like, you can avoid it unless you fall in it.
Mm-hmm.
like the fire swamp.
Uh-huh.
Which is just any
Exactly
swamp
like
with
the
fire.
fire
It's
swamp.
not trademarked. We don't owe anybody money. It's fine. If it was worth it, we could fly. The three of us could fly. And if Yursa was floating, maybe we could hold on to her and drag her while flying?
It could work.
Would you need to sleep between flying? I'm just trying to figure out how many days it would take you to fly 10 miles.
I would need to sleep. I would need a short rest to get slots back.
Okay.
But depending how far we want to go, because I could make us, what is it? Concentration 10 minutes. We could fly for 10 minutes with a speed of 60.
Okay.
Okay.
So
That's that could get you a little bit. I don't know if it could get you 10 miles.
So basically, it's just 10 miles of this, or we don't know because there's dense fog.
Good, it's a word problem.
No,
Miles 60 an hour.
no, let's say Wilbur told you to climb this would take. Oh no, it's 2 miles. Sorry, it'll
Okay.
take about.
Oh.
It would. Sorry, it's 2 miles. To climb it would take about 10 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So Irie excitedly does some math in her head.
So it would probably take about 5 hours to fly.
Okay.
If your fly speed is 60, it would have the time. But you would need to stop because you would be doing it in 10-minute intervals.
Well, I mean, could we... yeah, never mind. Because she would need to rest. Could... Well, but we could try avoiding it first and see if that will...
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe when we're near the end.
We could try the fire first.
Fire first. And
That
then...
was just an idea. Just because I don't know how far this is going to go. And somebody may have planted this on purpose, and I feel bad if it burned somebody's garden, but at least make a sign. Like, just be like, hey, I don't want you here. And then have the thorns as a second backup. Don't just say thorns, because, you know.
It's a look.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't actually have any fire spells. I just have a tentacle that makes lightning sometimes. But I mean, not to get too game mechanics heavy, I like to be a little bit stingy with the tentacle because I only get a certain amount of uses per long rest.
Yep.
And Warlock, I always think about short rest. So, but y'all would know that she's like a little particular about when she uses the tentacles.
Yeah, Lalani is also very particular about when these tentacles come out because it's creepy as I get out. So,
if Yrsa goes first,
mm-hmm.
going through this, she gets advantage on dexterity saving throws from things like this. So perhaps we can just continue on foot and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. You using climbing gear?
Sure.
I have it.
I mean, if you didn't...
Yeah, I have it too. I think I picked up... Yrsa would have picked up a dungeoneering pack or something of the sort. Point.
I'm going to say if you didn't have it, you would have it because Mama probably has everything.
Oh, yeah.
I would have made sure everyone was stocked for pretty much anything.
Oh, is the bag of bread finally gone?
You know, when I say I had everything. But now perhaps it can be a bag of bread and cake since you know that how to work it, Lalani.
So you start to climb, and it's a little difficult. The lightning's still raging around you. And after a little bit, let's see, what is... Okay. That's fun. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Before we go up, I'm going to cast Bless on everybody.
Okay. Yrsa. Well, first, where is everybody positioned as they are climbing?
Well, front.
Okay, Yrsa's in the front. Who is behind her?
I'll go behind Yrsa.
Okay.
Maybe I should go toward the back, actually.
So maybe there's just some distance between
Taste.
So Irsa in the
Iris-
front, then Mom in the back, and
Iris thinking she's likely to fall, so she'd want to get in a position where she isn't going to hit anybody on the way down. So if that means last, that means last, or if I could, like, be laterally to the side a little bit, so I'm not going to, like, billiard ball off somebody as I plunge.
mm-hmm.
That's what she would try to angle to do,
Okay.
however that would work.
So you got very lucky in your unluckiness because Irsa, you just got struck by lightning, but
Okay.
you only took 7 damage.
All right.
And
no save on that at all. Just struck by lightning.
You
Okay.
were struck by lightning, and the person who is next to you, who you just established was Lilani, is going to take half of that. So 3 damage to Lilani.
I was beside who, what, when, what?
You were behind
Yeah,
Ursa.
I didn't
Oh.
think Lilani had said where she was.
I
I thought it was.
the other 2 had said where they were, so I just assumed. You left Lilani in the middle.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say, like, Lilani is tiny, so it works. Okay, you said take 3. God damn it. Okay.
It could have been so much worse.
I can only imagine.
Okay.
After all, I know what a lightning spell is capable of damage-wise. So,
as you start to climb, you're doing okay. After a few hours, you start to get a little bit tired. Your arms are getting sore from the climb. I'd like everybody to give me an athletics check, please, just to keep going.
Remember your blessed.
Thank you.
bless. Yes, thank you.
I rolled the same thing on the D4 that I did on the D20.
Okay.
That's not a good sign.
I am good at like 3 things.
Well,
4. My total comes to 10.
10, 8.
I'm just going to say I kind of feel you on the same as the D4 or the D20, but slightly different. I'm seeing all 1s, but I got an 11 and a 1, which with my 7 comes to 19.
This is so sad. So you all fall.
No, I got a 19.
Oh, you got a 19. So Ursa, you see your friends fall.
Oh,
Okay. As soon as 6 seconds, or the length of time it takes to take an action, because this is not a reaction spell,
Uh-huh.
I would like to cast Fly on my falling sistren.
Okay. How many people can you cast it on?
3.
Okay. So you save everybody. Yourself and everyone. Because you were about to fall 30 feet. So that's not terrible, but you can cast in that time.
Okay.
You're okay.
And like, I don't, based on, yeah, you can control yourselves.
Mhm.
It's not like you're my puppets. But yeah, just think happy thoughts. And as I go upwards, I think I'm gonna pass yours and be like, I'm gonna get as far as I can. I'm not tough.
So, question.
Yeah.
With a climber, if you're using a climber's kit,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot fall more than 25 feet from the point that you anchored yourself.
Oh, okay. But you are flying now.
So, okay, I'm floating on a rope.
and now yours is going to speed up because she had slowed herself down to keep up with the comrades, because with athlete feet, she can climb 40 feet
Oh, nice.
per round.
Oh, that was my bad. Y'all should have had advantage because you were using a climber's kit. But it's okay. You are flying now. You're okay.
Yeah, if you're climbing at 40 feet, we're flying at 60. So, like, it's not that big a difference.
So you are going quickly.
It's just like, second wind time. Okay, all right, let's go.
And as you are going, Irie and Lilani, you see what had been moving in the branches that William had seen before. You see a small group of goblins up ahead. And as they see you fall and then fly, you start to hear like
He's not that funny. I mean, we're pretty much going straight up like this. But I suppose there's not much else to be amused about in this forest of thornies and mountains.
as soon as
really
you say that, they go ahead. Go ahead, Irie.
No, she's kind of gonna murmur in response, like, I don't really enjoy being mocked.
But mocking was they'd have to say something. Laughing is just something was amusing to them.
Fair point.
As soon as you say that, they go, "Ay!" and run, like dash into the shadows.
That seems reasonable.
What strange little beings. I wonder if they live here. I bet they live here. I bet they have little tiny houses in the forest.
Can I try and look around to see anything?
Yeah, sure. Give me a perception or investigation check.
Well, yeah. Oh, that's good. 23.
Oh, okay, yeah. You see hiding in behind some brambles, running into a cave, are 4 goblins. 5 goblins, actually. One dressed in slightly plankier mail than the others, and one goblin-looking creature that is much taller than the others.
Okay. I'm going to point that out to my friends.
So, Lonnie, have you ever seen anything like this before?
Can Wilbur see? Not Wilbur. Can William see what is going on from where he is?
If you point something out to him, can he see? Yes. So, then yes, he will be able to see.
Okay.
The small group of goblins and a very tall goblin in a cave. He can't see in the cave, but he could see them like kind of skitter in there.
Would we like to scare them?
I don't know about you. Like today, I'm feeling kind of over scared because we're falling and then I'm flying, which is kind of cool, but it's also like there's nothing underneath my feet. And then I don't know. Maybe they just want to laugh. We can leave the little goblins alone.
I don't know about all of you flying folk, but I think I could use a rest from climbing.
Yeah,
There's a cave over there. Granted, there are some goblins.
I wonder if maybe we showed them that we were very powerful and very interesting, that they might show us a way up the mountain that doesn't involve cliffs and pointy vines, maybe.
Yes, did we bring any cake with us?
Yes, we brought cake with us.
Okay, we can offer them some lunch.
We have bribe.
Yes.
I also learned this fun new spell where I can make rocks do things.
While Irie doesn't love the idea of going into a creepy cave where a powerful, nefarious magic being is with her laughing minions, because she has some history, she'll go with it. She'll just, hesitate. And she's going to trace the outline of one of the stars on her cloak thoughtfully as She flies with the group.
Do we have to land? Like, do we need to land eventually so we can get to it? Or are we flying straight to the cave?
You tell me.
You've got fly for till I lose concentration or 10 minutes. So
Would 10 minutes have passed between when we were falling and seeing the goblins, or should we still be up?
You can still be up.
so if we want to make a dramatic entrance.
Yeah, Ursa will be climbing over to the cave. You know what? Maybe climbing above it. So I might drop in that way.
Ooh, superhero landing.
And the three of us just sort of Stephen Strange in behind.
Yes.
So, Irsa, you superhero land into this cave. And it appears empty.
Can I make a perception check?
You may.
Oh, how did... that's a 12.
Okay. Looking around, you see a couple small creatures kind of crouch walking in the darkness towards a back entrance to the cave. You do not see the large one.
Okay, this is curious.
So because of creepy warlock shit, that's a fairly recent addition. I have the devil's own sight and have dark vision up to 120 feet. So what do my devil eyes see?
Not only dark vision, you can also see things that are invisible and other shit. Yeah. I may have created a warlock character recently. Just saying.
I was gonna say, I thought you could see a magic darkness or something.
Yeah, magic darkness as well.
Yeah, it's nasty.
So you see 4 goblins, and Irie, you see what appears to be almost invisible, and it's a very tall goblinoid creature that is all in black. And they appear to be stealthily making their way into a tunnel.
I would like to message the tall one. And what do I say?
We have cake.
Hello there. We have cake, if you'd like some. And enough for your friends as well.
By the way, the cake is not a lie.
And this is I was waiting because I'm so used to you ending your messages with "you can respond."
She's been out of it for a while. Would you like some? You can respond to this message.
I was just like, wait, is she done?
Sorry.
It's okay.
I was just being really dramatic about cake. I'm always dramatic about cake.
You hear a voice in your head responding that says, "Cake. Cake. For mission well done. Cake. After reporting."
I would like to use Mage Hand to procure some cake and make it begin to float in the direction of the tall goblinish one.
Does anyone speak Goblin?
I don't think so.
Nah.
Good, but I
Orin
would
and
have to.
Dwarvish.
Okay. What were you saying, Lilani?
I could, but I'd have to take 10 minutes to get
That's
that
okay.
set up.
It's not a big deal. I was just kind of checking. So you hear kind of a hullabaloo, like that you don't recognize. And then one voice rings out that says, "What is magic cake?"
And yours says it in front of all this, really confused, it going, do I attack them? What's going on?
Are they liking the cake? Do we
There's
need to
cake
put more
floating.
cake?
They're familiar with cake,
Mhm.
but they seem to think it comes as part of their duties. They report and then they get cake.
Well, I have some of Lord Siliki's treats. It's like dried meat. Do they want a dried meat instead of the cake?
The voice we heard that wasn't message, right? And it was,
Yes, you heard
we
that.
understood. It's like, what is magic cake? It is delicious if you would like some. We have other food.
The cake is so good. The cake is so delicious. It's wonderful cake.
Roll me to persuade them. Because, like, I believe
Me?
you. No,
And you're
Lilani.
standing in front of all this going, I'd forgotten what this was like.
Well, I rolled a
I
2,
can't
and
see
that
what
means
that
a
was.
15.
Nat 20.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
So,
Plus
these-
6. That's 26.
wait, did you get a nat 20 or a 6?
I got a nat 20, but my persuasion has a plus 6 to it.
Oh, okay, so 26. So, these 4 goblins run out and go, "Magic cake." And they run
So
towards you. And then the taller one, the one that Irie had been messaging, says, "Don't." You hear like a guttural command followed by cake. And then it walks forward as well.
Ilani is setting the cake in little piles, like she's setting a table, and she's keeping it all nice and neat. And she's looking to Mama. Do you think we need no napkins? We kill it all together. What else do we have? Does anybody have some
Harry.
milk?
Harry, you said something about a mission. Do we know what kind of mission they're on?
no, they just said after reporting, after the mission, they'd get cake. But that I'm filling in words there. It was very choppy.
Hmm.
I'm
I
gonna
actually-
the mage hand cake will drift back and join the lovely place setting, just as a sort of like, come hither, follow the cake.
And the tall goblin, I'll show you, looks like these.
Hey, buddy.
Ew, hey.
Ooh.
The
Fancy.
reactions.
And the short goblin who is dressed more elaborately than the others says, "Said meat treats."
Got you. I have got you covered. Oh, aren't you so handsome? Okay. This one is a venison. This one, I don't remember. This one was something that was in the forest. And she's gonna set out like a little pile of dried meat.
A little platter. It's like a cheese and meat and cracker platter, only it's just meat.
And
Charcuterie.
this well-dressed goblin just says, boys, you know, boss eat first. And she kind of makes a big pile, kind of like Irie's burger pile, but it's of meats layered between handfuls of cake, and shoves it in her mouth. Goes,
Savory, sweet. I get it.
and goes, good magic cake.
Okay.
Very good. The tall one is not approaching or approaching more slowly with
Has approached
cake.
slowly to was like, okay, cake, and is going and having kind of like dainty fingers of cake. And looking kind of disdainfully at the others.
Yes,
I would like to.
nice.
Oh, go ahead.
No, Leilani just settle down. If she had her dress on, her skirts would be spread around her as she is just having cake and meat with goblins.
As you do. I would like to sort of fade to the background a little bit as much as is possible and message the tall one again and essentially say something roughly like, are you the commander of this group? Like, I didn't hear the other one.
She says, I keep watch. Keep them in line. But Grackle works on her own. We all serve the lady.
The Grackle? That's a DM question. I'm not.
Yeah, she's
messaging
talking about herself.
Okay. It's amazing. Okay. Then I am honored to be in your company. We all are.
Just can't believe they're distracted by magic cake. Making friends with the people we're supposed to report on. Can't find good help anymore. The lady will be displeased.
That is a challenge. Finding good and loyal help. And I'm just gonna keep like chatting about like the struggles with Grackle while this unfolds.
Nalani is going to be gesturing for Mama to join them as they have their cake and meat, and and what is your name? I don't know what you're saying, but that's okay. Wait, I have cake for you too. And she's just going to be
And you hear one go, Ronk.
wrong. Okay. Add a G on there. You could be playing something with a ball. Okay. And then she's going to now what is the plan? I know yes there was goblins and we're supposed to come in here and I'm enjoying the rest, but
we were going to ask them to show us a better way up after we ingratiated
Well, they knew about
ourselves.
this. Well, they knew about this cave. Maybe they know a better way.
Perhaps. I guess I'll kind of sit in front of the one who made the first cake meat abomination sandwich, and I'm gonna make the same in a gesture of solidarity and take a big bite. Big swallow. Well, now that we've eaten together, we're friends. That's how it works.
That one looks at you and goes, you chief too?
In a way, yes. I have a very big family. Now, in my family, we like to help each other and help are friends, and now that we're friends, I was wondering if you could help us. See, we're trying to get to see someone very powerful who lives at the top of this mountain, and I was wondering if maybe you knew a way to get up there that didn't involve spiky brambles.
Oh, the lady.
Yes, we
You look
are
for the
old
lady.
friends. We're old friends of the lady. Yes. Yes, we are good friends with the lady. We just didn't know where she lived, so we couldn't come and visit.
Lady, good chief, doesn't have friends. Just. And one of them goes, contracted workers. Yeah, contracted workers. Oh, and her bird, Iblis.
Yes, the bird. Mm-hmm. Some more cake, meat. So we have to go see them, and Mama is the chief. Apparently, now this is how it is. And I am Princess Alani Sabor. And then we have a queen, and then we have another princess. Are you still a princess, or are you? Has there been a promotion, Eri?
Oh, I will always be a princess.
It's
There's a
nothing wrong.
slight note of sadness, but only slight.
There is nothing wrong with being the princess. They always come after the kings and the queens, but the princess is we keep it working. Okay, and unless you are like the one with the big axe, and that's a whole nother story. Um, we need to get up the mountain. Our chief needs us to get up the mountain. We are celebrating our chief. So,
We're just supposed to report on you. So the lady knows when people come up the mountain.
perfect report is if you actually bring us, because then you'll see where we are.
Give me a persuasion check, but you could do it with advantage because you gave them cake.
Uh, let's just do 8 plus 6. You're on mute.
I said, well, you succeeded because he got a 4.
Okay.
She goes, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, come on. Our way is faster. No creepy spy birds. Powerful witches have creepy spy birds, you know?
Lilani
Yes,
just smiles.
we've heard of that.
Irie thinks about crows that poofed into purple smoke when she would diss them and ponders that on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
But also, we'll keep up the conversation with Grackle about like, so it appears we are to be a visual aid in this report. An audience was our hope to see your master.
Grackle pauses and cocks her head at you and says, I'm not sure why you need to accompany for that. And she transforms into you, Irie. The rest of you just see off in the distance 2 Iries.
Irie's gonna like the eyes get a little bit wider and she like smiles and that like out loud, just that is amazing. And the first time she says it, it's like in Aquan, and then she's like, no, that's amazing. Cause she just loses her shit briefly. And like does the like puts a hand up to see if the mirror image puts a hand up thing. Just, you are very talented. And I would love to learn to do that someday.
Yeah, just watching this situation and just... What?
But yeah, like fangirl moment. This is so clutch. Loves the idea. Big notion that it could be used against her, sure, but like mostly just thinks it's really cool.
So you hear out of your own body, "We don't really need you to come up the mountain, see? We can say exactly what you look like and where your bodies were. Thanks for the cake."
You could, if you got there. But friends are much better than bodies.
Give me an intimidation check, Harry.
Okay. Based on my rolls, I don't know how this is gonna go, y'all, so I'm sorry if I just backed us into combat, but intimidation? Sure. All of my d20s are retired. I'm gonna get a fresh batch.
What did you get?
10 altogether.
She got a 3.
Okay.
So she drops your image. And
Be better.
you see her suddenly jump like she has teleported 30 feet away from you. It says, "Friends don't threaten each other."
And we're just watching this, right? We're just like, 2 Aries.
I was going to say, how do you react to seeing 2
Yeah.
Iries and then one become a hobgoblin and teleport away?
2 Iris. All right.
Was the whole what situation was the reaction to the 2 Iries, and then the teleporting away was an unpleasant surprise. So now probably has a hand on the handle of the axe, but hasn't done anything quite yet.
Yeah, I'd probably start moving over there, within casting distance and just kind of, Irie, are you okay?
Irie doesn't know how crap her roll was. Irie's just gonna roll with it as though everything worked. So she'll do the like, I'm in charge here kind of moment. Do the like, and then message to Grackle, is all well here? Is this job worth your life? You're greater than this job.
We will both live to see another day.
And you're much wiser than this job too. There have been so many who did not have that kind of intelligence.
You hear kind of Grackle's seen many fools and their ending in your mind. And then she kind of disappears into the darkness up ahead. But you get the sense that she's not going to attack you.
Okay. Cool. Irie will rejoin the cake party, the cake and salami party. Like,
And yours is just going to raise an eyebrow. Are you all right?
yes, of course. Grackle. Grackle is fantastic and incredibly talented.
Grackle is annoying.
Talent can be worth annoyance if there's enough talent.
How long have you all been working with Grackle?
We work for the lady. But last chief lost message. So Grackle sent to make sure things, and then says something in Goblin. And then one of them goes, nobody gets lost.
What was the message? You remember?
We see climbers. Report. Climbers fight. We report. Grackle eliminate. One of them goes, he's kind of cranky. Not very friendly.
Well, it's a hard job to have to do, I guess. Well, enjoy the cake.
They dig into this cake. And after a little bit, the chief goes, well, it's faster our way. Come on. And leads you through the dark. Does anyone have dark vision besides Lilani? Okay.
Devil vision.
All right, devil vision, yeah.
Creepy dark vision.
Right. So, Ursa and Mama, you might want to light a torch or something because they don't use them. And they take you up through low-ceilinged, dark tunnels. Like, these tunnels were made for you.
I imagine lighting a lantern, something small.
Sounds good. And after only about an hour or so, maybe 2 of travel, like through stairways and twisting paths, you find yourself in a very familiar throne room. The goblins kind of look at you and go, well, and go, wait. And you see these goblins kind of run out. Is it mission for you, lady? And you hear a very familiar voice call out, Grackle has already informed me that you were bringing uninvited guests, so-called chieftain. You know how I hate unexpected company, though? Apparently, these are friends.
Hello,
I think you would
darling.
prefer
You hear a chuckle, and pushing your way past the goblins, you find yourself in a very familiar stone room with a massive green bonfire, a stone throne, a small collection of now no longer baby dragons, but like young child dragons, and a very familiar fae or Eladrin looking woman big horns, and a massive raven perched on her shoulder. She pets the raven and says, "So you couldn't stay away. Make yourselves comfortable, my old friends."
So,
Yes, well,
yes, hello, darlings, all the babies and so on. Carabas, I was like hoping in my life that next time we see you, it would be at the party. Not next time we see you, it would be because there was another party that you were not invited to. Girl, we have to talk about this.
I am.
Like, it's really badly impacting your reputation.
You see that in addition to...
I imagine there are a couple.
Good, there are some imps
Sorry, I was gonna
here
imagine that you're.
who are eagerly approaching Irsa. But she seems to have
Like, no.
expanded her retinue. So in addition to the imps who are constantly bringing Irsa coals, there's quite a large contingent of armored goblins and a few teeny tiny dragon things that aren't dragons, but they are like kind of wreathed in fire. And they seem to be very excited about the dragons, and some of them are kind of casting spells to warm the dragons.
There's going to be a cat that actually comes out of Yursa's hood and kind of like drapes across her shoulders and is just like, I'm fine. and just kind of like scritches the cat's ears. It's like, remember, I've got the cat.
Warm?
I'm warm. I'm very warm.
Warm. Warm. Warm. And you see the imp kind of like hitting itself. Go, warm. Warm. Okay. Carol kind of claps her hands, and a kobold, who is one of those small dragon things, runs over. And she says, "My visitors are hungry. They've had a long journey. Please bring them something to eat and drink. Make yourselves comfortable. It's rare that I have visitors that I didn't summon, so what brings you here, friends?"
Yes, well, we heard about a mission. The target seemed familiar to us, and we thought you would rather we take it than somebody else.
Target? Is someone after my children?
No, witch, they are after you.
No.
Because apparently you did something.
But we were afraid your children would get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
We were afraid your children may be harmed. With this hanging over your head.
Hardly anyone even survives the trek up the mountain without my assistance. Who could harm me? What's really going on here? Charles! And you see one of the kobolds appears and has food from that is each of your favorite foods, as if she has been investigating you over the time since she's gotten to know you. And Charles presents this along with a beverage for each of you and says, "In the kitchens, he insisted," and pulls out a massive bag of bread as well.
Bag of bread.
So what are each of you eating? Or are you eating? For her, there is a large glass of wine and some scones.
Um, you see Yrsa kind of brighten a little bit at the meal. But then her face falls just a little bit, and you see her just kind of like take a small bite, make a face, and like just slightly, her face just kind of twitches, and then she just stops eating. But she does thank the person for the food.
What about Mama?
It is probably a big bowl of this steaming hot soup, and a warm hot chocolate, probably. And she's gonna kind of do a little cheers and take a small sip, and kind of look at Karabas. You know, we know that you have a storied past, and I know that you're trying to work to, make a different kind of name for yourself. We've talked about this. Yes? Is that still your intention?
Yes, I remember our conversation, but I have no idea what you're talking about, although it's wonderful to see you all again. I'm sure the children will be happy. Prefer you arranged a play date instead of showing up unannounced. However, I welcome you here.
Leilani has these very dainty, almost tea sandwiches that have like slices of grilled mushroom on them and a cup of tea, and she's just toying with her teacup as she watches Carabas very quietly. 100 years ago, this beautiful young lady fell asleep in the tower after pricking her finger on a spinning wheel. Then she woke up 100 years later with 2 children and a kingdom. She believes that perhaps it was you who got a little bit mad that you didn't get to go to a party because they only had 12 golden plates. And then they kind of figured you wouldn't want to go to the party anyways because you by yourself.
Oh, this is about Talia. She's still alive? I cursed her to die. What do you mean she's still alive? She's a human.
Evidently that didn't take. Yes.
One of the other fairies must have amended it. That must be horrible for her. Is the rest of her family dead?
Yes, except for her kids.
Oh, she has children. That's lovely. I'm so glad.
She really does not like you. Like, she really blames everything on you. And he's very hurt.
Well, I'm sure she is. But honestly, it's not my fault that she was born to rude parents. If she should be mad at anyone, she should be angry with her parents for not knowing the basic rules of decency.
I believe she is rather angry with them in a way. She did say that she was rather upset that this whole entire situation was because of plates in the end.
Oh, yes, that was the excuse her parents gave. There's always something. But everyone knows you invite all of the fairies in the kingdom to a christening, or whatever the announcement of your child's name day is. You don't invite a fairy, you snub a fairy. The result is death. Those are the rules. I'd just as soon, touch cold iron or break a bargain. as I would not curse a child to death because of their parents not inviting me somewhere. That's just how it works.
Your Highness, Lady Dragon Mother Person Carabas, I am not going to lie. Sometimes, when it comes to the amount of nerves that I have, and I only have 3 of them, you are able to successfully tread on all of them with your amazing and perhaps well earned, because you are magical, sense of entitlement. And every time I meet you, I am both humbled and floored by how it just seems to get bigger. Like your horns are so big and your presence is so big. So, of course, your sense of entitlement would be so big. But I'm just wondering, have you ever considered talking to somebody about this thing that you have about being snubbed?
Oh, it's not just me, it's every fairy.
Okay,
I
but
didn't make the rules. I just enforce them rigidly. Take it up with Vermilion Tackington if it's that important to you.
Who's this Vermilion Tackington?
Oh, he's the head bureaucrat at the She Stipulations Supervision Center. I mean, I would say take it up with Talia's parents, but I assume that they didn't survive her miraculous
No, they did
sleep.
not.
See, this is why when you curse someone to die, you let them die. You don't make them sleep for 100 years so they wake up with trauma. What kind of idiot, meddling fairy messes with someone else's curse? It's just rude to everyone. It's horrifying what that poor girl must have been through.
So, what are you going to do now that she has stayed alive to make it a little bit better for her? Because she's going to keep sending people up here trying to get you.
I'm going to continue ignoring her like I've done for all of her life.
I think what we can do, this Vermilion person can change the law so that children are not cursed to die because of their parents' actions.
Oh, yes. I mean, good luck getting through to him. He's a bit of a...
I think I could probably get through to someone, especially when it's just going to cause more problems later. I mean, look at what happened here.
How many of you speak Draconic or Sylvan? Not
You do,
all.
Lilani.
I speak Draconic.
So just Lilani. This is Karabas asking.
Mm-hmm.
I speak Draconic.
The other 2 of you will be a problem. Just a moment. And you see her transform into her dragon form. And she kind of scratches herself a little bit. And one of the kobolds runs over. And you see him go, just a minute. And she transforms back. And the kobold returns with 2 necklaces that have a shimmering dragon scale on each of them. Just put them on.
Takes it carefully and puts it on.
She says in Draconic, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, then you'll be fine speaking to Vermilion. Do tell him I said hello. No one quite appreciates order the way that he does. I'm so glad that he's in charge of things. Do you want to say hello to the little ones before you leave?
Yes, please.
It says, Charles, show them. And one of the kobolds kind of takes you by the hand to what can only be described as like a pile of baby dragons who are tangled and playing and rolling around together. And you see one of them go, a blue one, pop up and go, fans. And Princess Sparkles bounds over to you. And
Oh
starts
my,
to
look at you.
nuzzle between your legs doing figure eights.
You've grown so big. Look at those wings.
I can fly now for real. And he stretches his wings and kind of flits up and then can't like really fly the way the white dragon can, but kind of does a running jump and then kind of float.
A glide.
Yes.
Falls with style.
Yeah.
Oh, you've gotten so good at that.
So are you
We
staying?
should go flying. No, but we did come for a visit, and we'll come for another visit soon.
It's Mother's Day yesterday. We had cake.
So did we. We visited Mama.
And we brought Mama to visit you.
And at that, Princess Sparkles just kind of jumps onto Mama. And he's gotten big.
Oh my goodness.
It's like when a mastiff tries to jump on you and sit in your lap.
Not a lap dragon anymore.
I will try to hold Princess Sparkles, but I will probably fail with, my 7 strength.
You know, we'll help hold Princess Sparkles.
Ooh.
He goes, come back soon, okay? We missed you.
I'm so glad you're growing big and strong, and you're happy, yes?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Where's
Just gotta-
Silky?
Lord Silky has a very important mission to protect 2 little children so that I could come and see you.
Are they dragons too?
At this point, I really don't know. I'm going to be honest, but they are very, very beautiful, very smart, and they cannot fly like you can, but they need protection.
And you see Princess Sparkles think for a minute, and he says, if they're smart, they're probably dragons.
That should probably be embroidered on something. You are being good boys and girls.
Says,
Okay.
oh yeah, we could fly and do maths. Maths are important, I guess.
Maths can help. Maths can make your magic and flying even better.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's fantastic. The more you learn about the way science works and the way people think, the more you understand how you can do things too. It's wonderful. And somehow a talk about the joy of learning is creepy.
He kind of ponders that and like goes, well, it was cool to see you. And then kind of trots back to his friends the way that kids do.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that was cool.
I think you made a lasting impression on them, Ari, about maths and the importance of it.
It is very important. I mean, it's helped a lot as I learned to fly.
Yes. Okay, so let us do a princess huddle very quickly. Come, here's the princess huddle. Okay. Which is kind of I'm pretty sure we'll probably have to get on their knees for a princess huddle with Lalani because I just thought about she'd be this far down. But she's okay. I'm having a very difficult time because you already know I don't like this woman. But she has a very hard time taking accountability for things that have negatively impacted people because according to her, not my fault, it was the law. So we've got to come up with a plan to make the Queen Talia feel safe. And I don't know how we get this Carabas to say, like, write a letter, maybe make her a card, do something, because this is like, yes, we could change the law, right? But how does this help give the Queen Talia some closure? Do we perhaps connect her with Lord Tucking? What is his name?
Tackington.
Vermilion?
Vermilion Tackington.
The thing
That
about
is
if she's very into laws and rules, maybe we have him make a law or a rule that somehow gets her to apologize to our queen friend or make some sort of concession. I mean, she said it herself. It wasn't supposed to happen that way. Her curse went wrong. Is
She
there
seemed-
no accountability when you mess up a curse?
She seemed genuinely appalled at what had happened, and rightfully so. But she also really emphasized how much she plays by rules, which, you know, is a way to approach rules. So it sounds like, in all likelihood, she wouldn't have done this if it weren't the way it is done. So if we change the way it is done, we can stop her doing it in the future and protect the sun and the moon.
And that did seem to be the most important thing to tell you, that this not happen again, which this is the only way to do that.
okay. I'm thinking that perhaps we should also connect Queen Talia with this Vermilion Tucking Foot so that they can she can work out some kind of official bill or law that's, says that if a child you curse survives the curse, or how about don't curse children because you're mad at their mom and dad, like,
That seems reasonable.
An
I'm
age
wondering-
limit, maybe?
I'm wondering about this though, because she was showing up at the other party with her whole dragons, and she's like, oh, you didn't invite me to a party. What law is on the books there?
Frankly, both have grounds to be challenged. I don't see why etiquette has such high stakes here. It's important, but
It's not.
I mean,
it's I think it's
Her-
just these people. I really do.
I mean,
This
banishment. Banishment is a solid option. I don't understand why.
So our first goal is to repeal this law that is obviously outdated,
yes.
and possibly put forward a new law that prevents cursing of underage peoples.
Correct. I think also that the queen should be involved in this as someone who is personally hurt by this and who had survived, because I have a feeling a majority of the other impacted victims are probably dead now because they're supposed to be dead. So we have a very unique chance here to, show what damage is actually done, outside of the obvious. And then perhaps Carabas then shows up, signs the thing with all the other million hundred fairies that exist, who knows, and then the rules are changed. Is that what we are proposing? Changing the fundamental backbone of the horrific nature of quite a few stories involving children and powerful people.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, no problem. Okay. Uh, this just turned from stab something to talk something. Okay, so we go talk to Carabas, find out where Lord Tucking Arm is, and then we go there and we tell him, hey, you need to do this because it's really bad. And I don't think, like, for the Fae or for certain, people, you may live hundreds and hundreds of years, so you're able to live past it. But other people do not have that advantage. So maybe we make things a little less permanent like that and just say, hey, if you don't get invited to a party, write a letter, talk about your feelings. Okay, I am successfully satisfied that we don't have to cut off Carabas's head, because I would feel bad, because then you just leave the dragons with no mother and it'd be a whole thing. Um, okay, and she'll take a few steps back. I just want to reiterate, I really do not like this woman. I just, she just oozes so much privilege that I expect to like slip and fall every time I come in this castle.
You're not wrong.
So,
Ooh, at some point in this huddle,
yeah.
Does anyone know anything about this Vermilion character? I'm wondering if this is going to be like one of those castles with a million booby traps or a precipice over a cliff. Like, there are very cool real estate listings where these people live, and I just, and also if we could take a short, maybe hour-long rest before we go, that would be great.
I will say that your eating with Carabas would have constituted a short rest, as would have your time with the goblins, because you've had a lot of time just hanging out, conversing, and eating.
Cool. Good deal. I was feeling like yes, but if not, I wanted to check.
Thank you, because I was going to say that when you were talking to the goblins, and then I forgot. So, anyone who wants to can give me a history check.
Yes, please.
I'll try that.
13.
7.
10.
16, I think, unless it has to do with magic items or alchemical objects or technological devices. If not, it's just a 16.
Okay. So, Irsa, you know that Vermilion Tackington is a fairy dragon and is the head of Feywild bureaucracy. Any rule that gets made in the Feywild is overseen by him. Lilani, you additionally know that he is notorious for being a stickler for the rules and has worked harder than pretty much anyone ever has to uphold Feywild bureaucracy. Like, he loves his job. He is his job. And you've heard rumors that, Vermilion, he could have gotten married, but he missed his wedding to go to work and file papers, kind of thing. And it's unsure if it's true or if it's just one of those things that sounds true because it's so like him. But, yes. So,
it's like, when did he have time to date, much less get married?
Exactly. It was probably his assistant.
Into office romance? Oh, yikes.
You also know that he is very much, as would befit someone in his position, a stickler for the rules. And has never taken a day off in his life and is never late, ever. Which is kind of uncharacteristic for a fairy dragon. Like, the ones who work at the SSSC are, known to be hardworking, but he is particularly dutiful in this job.
Okay, we're going to need to pack a lunch. We're going to need to wear colors that are similar to paper. Or maybe not. And we're going to need an official time on his calendar.
I have sending.
Okay.
I could send a message to the SSC.
Okay.
Carabas, let me know. I have to get that from her, I think.
Mm-hmm.
but I could send in a request for us, maybe,
Okay.
unless one of you knows somebody.
Would I don't think so. It's very. I'm trying to think based on all the organizations that Lalani is part of and works for officially and so on. I'm wondering if she has ever worked, to find missing persons or to do inquiries or so on. Um, to at least know a point of contact there.
She might have come up across. Yes, you probably have, because frequently children who have gone missing were abducted into the Feywild and were not allowed to leave because they ate something there. And that's the kind of rule that the SSSC would enforce. So I'm guessing that your organization and their organization have butted heads before.
Yep, we're going to go see the people who we made it a law, so it has to be done with no, and they don't really update the laws that much because why? It's the law.
No. Well, while we're suggesting laws, perhaps we should suggest a review period where laws are revisited over time because they do become moot.
Yeah, Bernardo actually did his thesis on Feywild laws and the longevity and comparisons to the lifestyles of other people. And there was some other stuff in there that was very, very boring. And then somehow in that whole conversation, he also was like, so speaking of eternity, will you marry me? It was a whole thing. So he actually admired this Vermilion talking foot person because of the dedication to work. And I told him, that's not a good opening line. So we have to get an appointment and then go see him. And we have to have something to replace the law that makes sense. And that's why I think Queen Talia needs to be someone who speaks. Because her very existence shows that the law cannot be enforced.
I was really just hoping that I could walk up, be threatening with my axe, and somehow this would fix itself.
No, it's politics and it's the Feywild. And everything that is isn't, and everything that isn't is, and they live forever in places where nothing makes sense.
But there might be trial by combat or something. You never know. Right?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay.
Let's hope for that.
Mom, Ma, this is still your special adventure. So what would you like to do?
Well,
did anybody else hear that noise? Okay, there was just a terrible high-pitched noise, but hopefully it was just in my ear, not on the stream. I'm really sorry
excitement.
if it was on the stream. What?
I heard a slight high-pitched beep, but
Okay.
it wasn't that loud on my end.
That was excruciating in my ears, so I'm really sorry to anybody listening if you heard it too. Anyway, now that my brain is rattled, but Ma, is this still what you wanted for your special day?
I love making people's lives better, and I think that changing these laws will make so many lives so much better. I think that we should definitely get in touch with Talia. I don't think we should share that Karabas is involved because I don't think she'll trust us if we share that. But we might be able to say something about, going to the highest authority and getting things changed for good and just skipping the Karabas bit entirely. What do you all think?
I do think we should avoid lying to her. So if she needs to know about our experience with Karabas in the past, or if she asked her, I think lying will make this much harder. Avoiding is one thing, lying is another.
As soon as she hears her name, Karabas kind of approaches the huddle. Says, look, you're being a bit rude in my home, but I understand that you like to sort things out. I can get you to the Feywild. What you do there is up to you. I don't have
Can you
all
get
day.
us back?
Oh, I'm sure they can get you back. They go everywhere.
It's like an Oz situation.
They have portals and things. They were always popping into the mortal plane to do something. Abduct a child or, plant a ring of mushrooms.
Lonnie just gets the teacup and just keeps drinking even though there's nothing in it. She just...
Since I heard you wanted an appointment with Vermilion, I'll send a message to Rosamond Adhesion and get something set up on his calendar. So, knowing that it's coming from me, they'll get you right in.
You said Rosalind Confusion? What?
Rosamond Adhesion. She's his assistant.
I think we're already making plans to talk to her. Yep.
She says, well, it was as ever a pleasure to see you. She claps her hands, and you see the fire that's in front just take on a greener tinge than usual. Just pop on in whenever you're ready.
And Yrsa gives a small bow in thanks. And it looks to the others and just...
So you're stepping into the fire?
You know what? Yeah.
Okay.
Want to get this done.
It feels ticklish. And you suddenly hear a whoosh. And you are standing in a circle in a very busy, low-ceilinged, cluttered office. And you see all around you are fairy dragons and pixies flying around, carrying papers, feathered quills. Some are the pixies have ink-stained feet, and they're signing things by walking on paper. And you can barely see because of all of this chaos of them flying back and forth. Sitting in the middle on a massive stack of books piled on a very tall desk is a violet fairy dragon who is wearing tiny little moon glasses, and he's huddled over an enormous stack of papers on top of his books. He's holding a pencil in his left claw, a quill pen in his right. He has a large rubber stamp in his tail, and he is standing on one foot while turning pages in his other.
That is a very interesting sight.
Oh, I love it. I want to work there.
And you
Also, I really don't, but I do.
And the crazy thing is, you really, if he could take a break from work, would be attractive. You know what I mean? He's just, dedicated and focused, but...
This is just him.
Yes, it's a lot to deal with. And I barely deal with it with Bernardo. It's just paperwork and pencils and... Okay.
This is why you date musicians instead. Work hard, play hard. Hey.
I'm waiting for the others to arrive because unless ritual combat is happening in this room, I need somebody else to talk.
So Lolani is going to wait until each person goes through, before she goes through, but then she just takes one final courtesy to Carapace. As always, it is a delight to get to see you and your giant castle. Take care of the babies. And then she walks through the.
She
All
says,
right.
she kind of gives you a nod. And you each feel that tickling feeling followed by the voom and then a pop as you all arrive, like in this same corner of an office. And you hear the sounds of like butterfly wings, as just butterfly wings and rustling pages is all you can hear as these pixies and fairy dragons are just flying around.
Irie's gonna lean over to Lalani. I've never been in a legal office before. Is this how it always is with the flying?
Nope, this is the Feywild.
Do you have a copy of Bernardo's thesis? You'd mentioned reading it and just curious.
Yep, he put it in a box and put a bow on it.
He clearly cares for you a great deal.
He does. He does so much. And the rules and the laws and the specificities of everything. And he is so much love. It was so many pages of love. So we need to find Did we enter into his office, or do we have to get there?
It's like as soon as Lolani starts to say the name Vermilion, you're still go. I think that's him in the center there on the one claw.
If Lalani's willing to loan it, Irie will take and start scanning this thesis right away for best practices.
She's and she's got probably a couple of pieces of paper from it. I don't think she's big enough to carry the whole doggone thing.
Yeah,
But a
that's a
couple
lot.
pieces from it, with the bow on it that she hands over. And I think anytime Alani's been to a legal office, it has been to argue for whether or not the child actually ate something or was the contract actually communicated and things like that. So she's been to these offices before, but not in a hello, how are you? But more in the give me back the babies, And she said, okay, did we get on the appointment book?
Indigo fairy dragon kind of flits up to you.
Mm-hmm.
She says, "Oh, are you here for Vermilion? Are you his 2 o'clock?" Caraboss messaged.
Yes, I believe that would be us.
She's a bit much, isn't she?
That is what I am saying.
Well, it's not her fault. I know what it's like to be a dragon in the Fey world. Anyway, this way. Follow me. Can I get you some tea?
That would be lovely. Are you Rosamond Adhesium?
Yes, that's me.
It is so nice to meet you. I've heard only wonderful things about you.
Oh, thank you. Most people haven't heard of me. I just work for the boss.
Noble profession. Difficult to do well.
I mean, with a boss working all the time, he must have you working constantly.
Oh, no. He says that nobody can do it as well as he does, so he might as well do most of it himself. So I just keep his calendar and, bring him coffee and snacks.
The important thing is he has someone like you to look out for him.
Can I get any of you coffee or snacks?
I'm actually good. I appreciate the offer. We are here on official business, and I don't know how long we will be here.
The rest of you?
I'm fine.
We just ate, actually. I'm good.
Fine. Thank you, though.
No. Clever. Oh, well, can't win them all. Well, this way. And she takes you down a kind of winding path of desks to Vermilion. And you see that this, like, the piles are tall. So he is looking slightly down at you, despite sitting on a desk.
I believe he might be eye to eye with.
He might be eye to eye with Ursa, actually. And
Still a little disconcerting.
he never stops moving, but looks up and says, "It's 2:00. 2:00. Hello, what can I do for you?" She's writing and moving papers around.
We are here to talk about something important.
Well, everybody
Carabas sent
is.
us. Yep, Carabas sent us because about 100 or so years ago, probably 100 years and some change, she decided to follow what she said is the law that if someone snubs you at the naming day of a baby or something like that, and you are a fairy, you're supposed to curse the child with death. Is that a thing?
Oh, yes, the rule of, well, politeness. It's really just, to ensure that everyone gets an invitation, to make sure that you invite everyone. If you don't invite someone, then the baby has to die. So it's pretty established, well-known, so everybody gets an invitation and nobody feels left out.
What about
rule.
people who don't know that there are fairies to invite? Do their children also get, or is it only if you're in the know about the fairies?
Well, I suppose it's up to the fairy to make themselves known to you, but it seems pretty silly to not know the fairies if you're the ruler of a kingdom. Don't you want the correct blessings?
And does this only apply to children of royalty?
Oh, yes. We don't just curse anybody willy-nilly. We don't have time for all of that.
Okay. So, what checks and balances are in place to make sure that the curse actually takes place and the child is killed, as opposed to there being a leeway for the child surviving and living a life of torment?
Well, I assume that's up to the fairy, isn't it? You curse somebody, and then they've done their job. And then the child dies, the parents learn a lesson. Next time, they invite everybody, and they have a better party.
A lot of your laws seem to really be, it's kind of up to the fairies. It's an interesting way to do, well, laws.
Well, we emphasize freedom as well as rules. It's tightly bound rules as well as personal freedom. So, just like we don't allow cold iron in here. We can't touch it, so we don't like it. It's just like that.
What would the penalty be for a fairy failing to execute the retribution according to this law accurately? If there's a penalty involved.
Or what would be the penalty for a fairy interfering in this law and allowing the child to live?
Oh, excellent point. Yes.
Well, I can't understand why that would happen. Rule's the rule. You obey the rules, everybody gets along. I mean, why would you break a rule? That's just ridiculous.
So, we probably have a case file on this somewhere, or maybe not. Maybe she did not turn in the paperwork. There is a Queen Talia who would have just been a baby Talia, but she is a queen now, and she lived 100 years sleeping because the curse that was put on her with whatever creative licensing that of the freedom put in place allowed for her to survive.
She's an elf, is she?
Not only... No, she's human. However, because another fairy interfered with the curse, the entire family was put to sleep, and she was the only one to survive.
He stops his paperwork for a moment And you see him pause. And then he resumes, and now he's working double time. He says, well, sometimes things happen. That's certainly a shame.
Insight check.
Please do.
Oh, yeah.
Guidance, guidance, guidance.
Yeah, you know what? I got a
I
insight
would love
too.
to try. I roll
Yeah,
dice for fun
let's
now
try.
instead
18.
of consequence, but that's not terrible. 16 or 15. Hey.
13, not bad.
Okay, so you, I had 2 18s and a 13.
I had a 15.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So, Irie and Lalani, you see that he's genuinely shaken by the thought of the rules hurting somebody. Lalani, you get that he is shaken, or not Lalani, sorry, Ursa, you get that he's shaken, but you don't pick up on the part that it's specifically about the rules causing harm. Like, the fact that the rules caused harm seems to have blown his mind.
I just, so now she is living and she has 2 children and she has no family and she has an entire kingdom.
She has children,
And
doesn't she?
Yeah, we did not pry. She just has the children after being asleep for 100 years.
Well, and he kind of pauses and then looks sad and then starts working again. And you see him just like stamping really hard with his tail with that stamp.
So she wanted revenge because she knows what happened to her because of a fairy. But she does not know the rules or all the complications or all the technicalities or what should or should not have happened because she's a human. Garabus
Not
is
only
just
that,
Go ahead.
she is afraid the same thing will happen to her children.
Yes.
It is hard to say that this fear is unjustified, seeing as her life is proof that it can happen.
Well, it seems pretty clear that she would invite all of the Fae folk into her realm to her children's name day celebration. And his voice cracks a little bit.
I'm fairly certain she would invite no one to her child's namesake celebration.
Her life has demonstrated that it doesn't matter what she does, she will suffer at the hands of these rules, because her initial suffering was not based on her own actions. She has learned the lack of justice and the lack of lawfulness executed by the Fae, which is an unfair lesson, because it's clear you care about justice and what is correct.
He pauses at that too, and his eyes get really big. He just says, well, I don't know if I could just change the rules. I mean, it's unfortunate, but
Well, there's probably a process for changing rules.
Or if not, there should be.
well, it's pretty much just up to me, honestly.
Yes.
And all of you who are here notice that even before he sped up, he is working like 3 times as hard as everyone else in this office. Like, they are all kind of chit-chatty and like talking around the fantasy water cooler, whereas he has not moved from his post.
The Great Honorable Vermilion Turkington, your life, Tuggington, forgive my accent. Your life is a monument, an example that law and order is worth focusing on. But the law without empathy does more harm than good, especially when there are so many different variables in the lives of the people that don't even know what the laws are.
And when your people are operating in other realms, how are other realms to be held accountable for laws that are for your realm?
Also, how you work on everything. You must be constantly keeping up with everything happening right now. There's no way for you to keep up with everything that happened in the past as well.
Well, I keep up with everything that's happening in the whole world, actually. All of the time, everywhere. You've got to keep busy.
Are you sure there's nothing you've missed?
Give me an insight check.
16.
Yeah, you feel some, like, deep regret in his voice when he's saying that. He says, well,
It's
Oh, go ahead.
it pardon me if I'm too forward, but you're obviously very powerful and very fast and very hardworking, but I don't. There has to be things that you've missed in your speed, your just sheer creative genius speed here.
Well, I did have a boyfriend once, but it was a long time ago. And I've had friends, but that now I just never leave the office and can't go out for drinks because I've got to keep things going on. And I did have a family at one point, but I just don't understand. I've got to stick to the rules, and don't really need to shower when I can prestidigitate myself clean again. So Rosamond, she's good. She just brings me snacks to eat, so I can just keep going.
What was your boyfriend's name?
Jerry. He was nice.
I bet he was.
What did Jerry do?
Not a whole lot, actually. That was the problem. Jerry just liked to hang out on the beach.
Did he have a profession?
Well, he was a hunter.
Well, he sounds delightful. I personally hunt quite a bit as well. And my Bernardo spends a lot of time in the office. But I think there's a lot that you have missed in your life because you have been so focused on what you think matters most, so that you cannot see the things that are flashing before. How did you not know about Queen Talia? How did you not know about Carabas's weird things that she does?
Well, she's excellent. She sticks to the rules better than anybody. She tries really hard to be a fae,
She hired us to find a whole bunch of baby dragons, and then she took all the baby dragons to a party to try to crush that and make the baby dragons fight because they didn't invite her to a party and it had nothing to do with the name day.
That he actually drops the quill pen. Says, well, that's not appropriate at all.
But freedom.
I haven't kept an eye on this as well as I should have.
And you cannot because you are only one, amazing, talented, powerful, but with as many fairies that exist. They take advantage of how wonderful and law-abiding you are, and know if they hit all of the big marks, they can fly under the radar. So how many children have been actually hurt, not because of the law, but because of someone's interpretation of it?
He kind of stops for a minute, and he says, this has all been for nothing. I wanted to help people.
I wouldn't
still
say
can.
nothing.
You still can.
You
But
said that. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's so epic. You said that Jerry was a hunter.
That's what
How
he
did he
said he
learn
was.
to-
He mostly just liked to hang out on beaches and fish.
I can understand that. But to become a hunter, you learn from other hunters. And to become a great hunter, you learn to hunt with others. And I could say that as a, well, princess, I've become a better one working with others and learning from others who have seen things I haven't. You have seen so much of the law. And there are those around you, like ducks under a pixie or whatever. There are so many around you who would love to learn what you know so they can help. Because they care as much as you do, or they would if they'd seen what you'd seen. I wouldn't say your work has been for nothing. I'd say your work has given you the chance to be an amazing leader and teacher. And dragon.
And also, if you get other people on your side that are willing to help you out and know what you know, maybe you could take a day off. Call up Jerry, see what he's up to.
Day off?
Maybe just a lunch date. Maybe just take a full lunch away from your desk. It's a small step. I know it's hard, but I think you can do it.
Kind of stops and goes, I will take a day off. I'll take a weekend.
You pace yourself. Don't do anything that's going to overstress you. Just what you can start with. And perhaps start working with people with a different perspective as well. I can name some names. There's Quintalia as a victim, an unknowing victim of things that have gone wrong.
So we'll have to eradicate that rule. I had no idea that cursing a child to death for a missed invitation could lead to such, well, sadness.
Yeah, who would have thought? Just, you know, I get, Feywild thought and
But I just wanted everyone to get invited everywhere.
yeah, I think mini laws start that way that, oh, let's be nice. If you're not nice, you die. But
Exactly.
then,
It's easy to follow.
but whoever wrote that law, and if it was you, forgive me, to put the
Oh,
death
no,
on
I
the.
don't. I
Yeah.
didn't write. That's an ancient one.
Yeah, I think you probably should have looked at the fact that it wasn't the people that got punished, it was their children. So that just has a lot of,
I believe the idea was to take away the thing that you love most. A lot of our
yeah,
laws
but
are like that.
yeah, I can see that it's like eating the food, and then the fairies are always trying to act very hospitable, but
Exactly.
they don't say, but if you eat it, you can't leave. Like there should be something. Maybe they have to disclose so people can consent to staying or not. Like you might want to consider that.
He starts writing
Maybe
these
add a
down.
label to all of the food.
I bet that you and your staff could do a big mine of all your files and see any laws that are some of those ancient dates. You could make a big spreadsheet and search it by date, and anything that's really old, maybe take another look at. That would be a great way to familiarize your staff with old processes, and I bet they have lots of interesting ways to change them.
That's a great idea. I always thought since I knew them, it was fine.
You see, there are so many ways to grow here. Um, you are inspiration to people across many realms as well. You know, um, so you could be even more of one by showing that people can grow, laws can change, and it's important to improve things based on the needs of the society, instead of forcing the society to live under a mold that's antiquated and outdated.
Oh, thank you. I'll send someone to talk to Talia with our sincerest apologies. And I'll take a weekend. See what Jerry's up to. Probably being lazy on a beach, I'm sure. Still mad that I missed the wedding. But well, then we can have a staff training day and get everyone together and make it a, what do they call that? Team building, bonding exercise.
That sounds amazing. Like, I know somebody that would hear that and just be like, that's the best thing ever. Speaking of that, before we leave, and I know it because if I mention this, he's going to never let me leave it. Can I please have your signature on this piece of paper? This was my Bernardo. He wrote a whole thesis on your work in the fairy courts. So if you could please just sign this. And she holds up.
You want me to sign someone else's work?
Yes. He already has like 5 copies of this.
Well, it seems a bit strange to sign someone else's work. That seems inappropriate, but you say he would appreciate this.
Yes, or you could, write him, Dear Bernardo, thank you for the thesis, and sign it.
I'll do that. Paper. I would feel strange signing someone else's work, so.
Okay.
Dear Bernardo, your grasp of legality is unparalleled. Good work, boyo. V.T. Esquire. And then he stamps it with his tail. Hands it over.
Goodness. Thank you so much. This is going to make an amazing anniversary gift. And then I'm just going to have to live with the fact it's probably going to be in the bedroom. On the wall. For a very long time. But thank you for the work that you do.
Of course, if you need your way back to the mortal plane, that portal over there in the corner is how we all come and go. So just stand in it and think of where you want to go, and you'll most likely end up there.
See, that's what you may want to work on, the precise language in the fairy stuff. Because it would just give people a lot more peace if they knew this equals this instead of this might equal that.
And he starts writing that down as well.
Okay. Belani has.
We appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Apparently things have been slipping out of control for some time. I can't. Please give my condolences to that queen.
Of course.
And I'm deeply sorry.
We will.
Return to her and let her know to expect contact from your office.
Yes, I'll send Rosamond over. I can't trust a pixie.
Yep.
She seems very responsible, Rosamond.
So great.
You should probably get her a gift.
A raise is a really nice gift.
Yes.
Oh, I could do that. That would be quite nice. Thank you. Usually I just, cast an image of flowers on her desk or something, and then she gets excited, and then they're not there, and she's sad. No, I just go about my day.
Oh, the thought is nice.
Yes.
But a raise or access to healing benefits if she needs them, time off, these things have been tested in other legal systems and seem to work well.
She's repeatedly asked for time off. Sometimes she just doesn't show up for a while, and I assume she's taken it. But she does all of the billing, so I don't really know.
If you need anyone to talk to as well as you figure out how to, get life back balanced again, I highly recommend you find someone who's not in your profession. who is actually qualified to deal with life counseling and, start to talk to someone.
I'll take that under consideration. Thank you.
Hmm. And Jerry is going to need so much jewelry, like maybe put some gems in a bowl. Like you're going to have to do some cleanup work there, man. That's
Not an image of gems.
no.
Like poetry. It's time for sonnets, my friend.
Yes.
I did write a
Right.
haiku once.
Yes. Write him a legal letter of how much you love him.
His eyes just light up, and he like stands up and says, "That I can do."
Okay. And Lilani says, all right, I think it's time to go back now. And she's gonna cite to Mama. That is what Bernardo did last time he forgot the anniversary. He just wrote this whole legal letter.
Right, that man. Maybe, they should talk.
Bernardo has gotten better. He's just very passionate about what he can do to help the children.
He would be a great resource for this
You really
project.
would be.
I'm kind of scared for that meeting to happen. Let's go to that.
That seems reasonable.
Just kind of scared.
Bernardo never comes home.
And then I'm going to have to cut somebody, and it's going to be a whole thing. And then there'll be more legal paperwork. So, but yeah, Lalani is ready to head out.
All right.
Same.
Same. Just our work here is done.
Where are we thinking of, friends? Are we thinking of Talia's court? Are we thinking of...
Yes.
Talia did expect a gruesome token.
And
Any token you want to bring.
Yrsa holds up the scale.
See, Lalani just unwrapped a napkin that had a tea sandwich in it. Just like this.
Let's go. We packed. We're good. Let's go.
Like I was going to eat this. Yes, I drank some tea, but come on, ready.
So as soon as you step onto that portal and imagine Talia's court, you find yourself there.
Oh, that is incredibly useful.
My head hurts. Ugh. Okay.
Lord Silky immediately notices your presence.
Hello, is that my good handsome boy? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And Lalani is distracted for a moment by greeting her Lord Silky
And Sun and Moon are trotting behind him. Who's good? Lord Silky, we have more stories to tell you. Lord Silky, you have more stamping to do. Lord Silky, we were gonna joust. And on her throne, Talia kind of looks at you and says, that was an unexpected entrance, but I assume you've done what you set out to do?
And Yrsa holds out the scale and is just like, she will not bother you or anyone any longer. But in addition,
She was a
we
fairy.
visited.
This is a dragon-scaled necklace.
She was more than a fairy.
Mm-hmm.
However, what we did, that would not protect your children from future fairy events. So we visited the legal offices of the Feywild, and we spoke on your behalf. And you will be contacted by a representative. They are changing the laws.
Laws about that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's disgusting.
Yes.
Yes.
And you see
They
her
were under
kind
the
of
impression.
reach towards her children and then sees they're still having fun with Lord Silky, and she stops herself and says, so we're safe here?
You are safe. And there will be a representative who will be coming with apologies, and they have promised us that they are changing the laws. They're combing through all of the old ones, and they're going to be, what is the word? Retiring, eradicating the old ones that cause so many problems. You
What
and your children
happened-
will be safe.
No. I have a gift for accidentally talking over people on video chats. It makes this time very challenging. What happened to you was an abomination, even according to the letter of their law. It should not have happened. And the shocking nature of it is part of why they so readily agreed that the laws must change. Because no one should be hurt the way you were hurt.
She kind of stops and takes that in. Says, well, I'm comforted. You went above and beyond. Not only did you slay a monster, you have made a better future for my young ones here. I believe 2,000 gold was promised, as well as I have a small plot of land just outside, not in the Forbidden Wastes, but, a small castle that's been uninhabited since my husband's unfortunate demise by foreign spies.
And Yrsa just kind of turns to Mama and just kind of pushes her forward a little bit. And Mama, happy Mother's Day.
So we're all
Oh,
Marquesas in my court. You are to be the title holder? She looks at Mama.
really? Yes, I suppose. Yes, I will hold this title.
Congratulations, Marquesa of the Dawn.
Oh my gosh, it's so nice and lovely. Thank you. And please, do let us know how we can help with this Fey nature. We have dealt with this a little bit now. We've seen the magnitude of the legal structure. It's very intricate. So if you need help, you'll know where to find us.
Ari, are you going to say something?
Irie would have done a quick insight check, I suppose, scan of the group when Queen Talia said that we had killed Parabasa, just to
Said
see.
slayed a monster.
Slayed a monster.
Yeah.
So
Just a little quick, are we rolling? Because what happens if she finds out the monster's not slayed and Mama's living in a house she gave her? What's the queen gonna do?
Never said anything about killing, just said would not bother her anymore.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so
It's like she's assuming a thing, but when
Lalani is
things.
going to speak up with a thank God that's a 17 plus. If it matters, it's a
It's like
17
I would
plus
try to
6.
persuade, but I've been rolling such crap that I have concerns.
17 plus 6. So with a 23.
Yeah, you can do what you want with a 23.
Lalani will step forward and say, thank you for the opportunity, because had you not brought this to our attention, we would not actually have what we need to get important change done. I am a princess. Ursa is a queen. Eri is a princess. Mama is now apparently a Marquesa of the Dawn. We work very hard to make sure that the people that we are protecting and serving and so on have what they need, and now you have the opportunity to do that for hundreds of realms because you are brave enough to share your story. So the monster that we slayed today was Stigma, and antiquated laws that lack empathy or the room to breathe and change. We could not do this had we slayed another living being. She will not bother you again, because she is also a mother, with more than 2 children to care for, and they are too young to take care of themselves.
I think they're very big children. Very big children.
Comparatively,
Very big
she's
children.
also a very big woman. Like, when she's not in her, oh, look at me, I am the queen shape, she's just, it's just big. What I want you to understand is that we could not bring in this new dawn with bloodshed.
She pauses, and then she seems to think for a minute and says, enough have died.
And
As long as my children are safe, hers will be as well.
And just know, if she gives you any grief or any bother or anything like that, you send a message to me like this, and I will come and cut her. Okay? You are beautiful, you are wonderful, you are an amazing person and a loving mother who is raising literally the sun and the moon.
I have a proposition for you if it will help you sleep better. I can ward your living quarters or your children's rooms against anything that would harm them. I can hallow the area and make it holy. Would this be acceptable?
She seems really taken aback and just, yes. I
That's
haven't
Marquesa of the Dawn.
slept well in 5 years. Thank you.
Well, let's make sure you get a good night's sleep, because you can't be a ruler if you don't get some sleep. Are you eating enough?
I slept enough for several lifetimes.
That's fair.
That's very fair.
Sleep and rest are not the same thing, and you are quite right.
So I guess this is Mother's Day celebration for several mamas, and Your Highness, now you have a new mama as well to come take care of you as the Marquesa of the Dawn. She cooks very good food.
So good. With seasonings and fire.
Oh my goodness.
We'll have to talk over dinner. Don't worry. I'll make enchiladas. It's great. It'll be good. It'll be good.
I would like that. I appreciate what you've done. After some time, you hear through, after hallowing the area, you hear that, Mama in particular hears that things at Talia's court are a bit more relaxed. The children are actually allowed to go outside when they play for the first time ever. And Lilani, you hear some stuff from the Feywild that at first there is a bureaucratic nightmare as the Feywild falls into chaos. All contracts and bylaws are brought for renegotiation, and the SSSC is full of angry Fey folk trying to get things resettled to find where they stand. And it's especially odd because Vermilion is nowhere to be found. Some say they have seen him on a beach with a young Eladrin man on a boat in the sun. Meanwhile, Rosamond has taken over and is one by one scratching out any law where there is room for negotiation and speaking with victims of unfair laws to find ways to renegotiate them. By the time she's finished, hardly any laws remain, but the ones that are there are ironclad. And the Feywild, after a few months of complete and utter chaos, breathes a sigh of relief as they're able to renegotiate somewhat limited contracts again. Mama,
Imagine
you are now nobility. And you have 2,000 gold to share between the four of you. Mama, you may be called on to serve Talia's court in the future. But that was golden plates and golden rules.
I loved it so much. That was great.
That was so great. Thank you, Jess. Ah,
Thank you so much. It was so great to play with all of you again. Was there anything you wanted to do for your characters before we call it a night?
I think Lalani, while all this is happening, like there would be some kind of montage of her just sitting at dinner with Bernard as he's just flustered and frustrated. And the first time the news bird drops off the information about chaos in the Feywild, he's just gonna look at the what did you do? Just, as they work contract after contract, missing child case after missing child case, and start to get in that letter is framed, embossed, center place, and yeah, she's gone back home to take care of things, and send her little notes and messages to people via animals, check on everyone, make sure everything is okay.
Mama, how are you adjusting to nobility?
It's a definite shift. But now I can have my whole family in one house, and that's pretty great. She's going to start taking clippings of her rose garden and planting it around the new castle, and we'll have rooms in the castle for everyone in case they want to visit, with beds to their specification size, so Lonnie's not like drowning in blankets.
What about
And
Irene?
make sure
Okay.
to always have just in case, an extra place set at the table.
Love it.
Extra plate at the table makes a lot of sense after this adventure. Irie is still a bit of a loner on the inside. And if the group's together, or like there's a chance to get the group together, that's part of why she's like, I'll go find people, sure. Because she likes being together, but doesn't know how to stay with the group very well.
Mm-hmm.
So after the adventure is over, she's like, okay. And she goes back to essentially what she was doing before, which at night, she has learned that's the better time to fly. So she'll travel very far distances and short rest in between because she doesn't sleep. And she's going sort of to keep moving. She's very taken with legends about powerful entities. So she'll pay a lot of attention to the songs and poems about mythological creatures that have great power, that imbue their servants with great power. And she just kind of keeps moving. But the time spent with her friends again renews a sense of it doesn't have to be like this, that she finds really comforting. But she keeps flying. It's a lot like swimming, and that's why she likes it so much.
I'm going to say you probably come across something that sounds oddly familiar to you. in the fact that it wasn't exactly an entity, but you hear about how a long time ago there was something called the Goblin Mirror that was broken. And if a shard of it got into your eye, you could not see anything beautiful, only ugliness. And these shards were carried along the wind. Yep. So Yrsa, at the end of this, just takes a look at her compass and heads off to where it points.
All right. Well, thank you so much, princesses. I loved having you back. I had missed running the show, and it was so perfect to get you all together to run an adventure from the Princess Project. So,
Yes.
and of course, I couldn't resist running the one with Caraboss in it because, you know her, you love her, and you'd love to hate her. So, if those of you who are watching would like to buy the Princess Project, that was just one of many fantastic adventures. There's that was one by me, but there are better adventures in there. There's a great, beautiful art. And right now, if you buy it on the DM's Guild, all of the money goes to creators instead of half, like usual. So if you want, I forget how many is in there, but there's a lot. If you want a bunch of princess themed adventures, check that out because it's a blast. I'm Jess. Thank you for coming to my channel. And you can see what I'm up to on my Twitter, which is in the thing. I write games and supplements, and I have some coming out pretty soon, so keep an eye on that. Otherwise, I will see you all on Tuesday for Paws and Claws when I host it here on the Onyx Paths channel at 8 p.m. Eastern. So, Leilani, tell us who you are and where we can find you.
Hello, I am Honey, aka Honey and Dice. You can find me on Twitter at Honey and Dice. You can find my new podcast on Podbean at honeyanddice.podbean.com. I also have an Instagram for Honey and Dice, but there's nothing there. I just didn't want anyone else to take the name. Tonight is about all these amazing authors and contributors and artists and readers and editors who contribute to all the many projects and anthologies that go on to DM's Guild. So the only other thing I'm going to plug is to go ahead and pay it forward by playing it forward and go get either this adventure or something great that's out there to support the independent creators who need it more than anything right now. So remember to love your you. And if you can't today, or it's hard, or you're having a difficult time, remember that I love you.
Mama, who are you? Where can we find you?
Hey, I'm Christina. You can find me on my Twitter at D20X. Good Lord, it's been a day. D20Xtina, and then I also write games and things for games. I love all things creepy crawly, and yeah, I'm always happy to talk about DMing or running games. I do a lot of that offline, but also, yes, please play it forward. There's some really great things out on DM's Guild. You can search for just adventures. You can look at all these really great anthologies, and there's just so much out there to support. So please do play it forward. Thanks, y'all.
Yrsa, who are you and where can we find you?
Hi, I'm Zan Larson, also known as Pale White Rabbit on Twitter and Instagram. And I draw stuff for money. I've drawn stuff for a lot of things like Uncaged, and I'm going to plug Unbridled here because if you like unicorns and hags riding unicorns, that is a fantastic anthology, and I love the art I did for it. So, very good one to plug. And so I have a Patreon, and I draw stuff for money. So the portraits that were in the center of the thing, right, we were playing, yes, I did those. So if you have a character that needs drawn, I can do that. Jess, I think you're muted.
I'm
I think
muted.
you're muted, but I'm thinking it's my turn.
It is your turn.
I insight checked really successfully on that one. I'm Margaret. You can find me on the Twitters or the Instagrams at Margaret Maynard. You go on Instagram, yes, it's mostly just pictures of my houseplants at this point. But if you like basil, I'm here for you. I am a writer, and my day job is working with nonprofits and service organizations. So right now things are super busy. But I also write adventures. I'm in Uncaged, Volumes 2 and Volume 4. If you would like a necklace that lets you destroy street harassers, check out the items I put into Volume 4. Yeah, I really just want to echo what other folks have said here. This is a great time to support creators if you have the option to, and if you don't have the option to, that's okay too. Like, find things that let you have fun right now. That's what this game does for me, and I hope you find something that lets you have it too.
Thank you so much, everybody. We love you so much. Stay safe, and thank you for joining us tonight. Have a great night.